Good morning, traders out there. How we doing? Who's ready to get after the week? Well, I'll tell you one thing, guys. Now is when the week has started. Nvidia is done and the doors are open. Let's see if we get ourselves a rally. And what have we been talking about? The number one focus for Nvidia. It's all about China, right? We talked about it yesterday. What was talked about in the earnings report? China, China, China. And then this morning was looking to see that was good old Trump going to come out and support what has been mentioned about the export controls and China, and that's exactly what he's doing. So look to see if this starts to get a nice little push, and we'll see what happens on this move now, guys. A lot of action going on out there, and Nvidia starting to take off. So let's start with that. Let's take a look at what's going on right now as we speak. Look at Nvidia Drive here, guys. A little part of me wishing I had a piece already, as I should have just bought in the pre-market. I felt this would get the rip. Now Nvidia ripping. This tells me maybe get after AMD really quickly. Let's see if I can grab AMD here, and we at least start to kind of ride up with that action. AMD already pushing off to 167 50s. I don't mind taking about like 50 shares here and then seeing if I get a little bit of a pullback opportunity. But it was down already, coming back to yesterday's levels. If I could get it around 167, I would love to get it there. Let's go ahead and put around 167.30s right now to see if I can catch a little bit of a bid off a pullback here and get an entry for AMD. AMD going higher with Nvidia following this, of course, mentions by Truth Social and Trump. So Truth Social and Trump coming in here this morning, and comments coming out there, guys. And then also on Fox News, we got some more comments from Trump. So watch for those Trump comments to be moving the market here with Nvidia, as Trump coming in and shaking things up like always, right? We'll see what happens there. Trump not looking to take a stake in Nvidia, says Bassett. Well, don't worry. We don't need them to take a stake in that. All we needed to do is let them sell their chips in China. We'll see what happens here as Nvidia going higher up there to 181. And remember, I said maybe 184 by the open. I think I might win. Let's go. Let's get there by the open. We'll see what happens on this one. Nvidia started to rock and rally off of course, nice mentions there. But hey, that's what it's all about, guys. You got to stay with the news. You got to know what's going on. And I'll bring you more about Nvidia's report coming up here, guys. We can take a look at the different action. We can also take a look deeper inside the report, what's going on here. Of course, I brought you guys that preview yesterday. Hope you guys appreciated that preview, because we were dead on right there. And of course, we did get also GDP numbers to come in. That's not really doing much to the market here. We'll talk a little bit more about that, take a look to see what happened there. But hey, great day overall, guys, to start it off now that we're really starting to rock and roll here. Doesn't look bad at all, guys. So good day to get it started here. Nvidia's going higher. That's going to help the Qs start to rip up. I'm going to look for the Qs to start breaking out, start going towards the upside. There's a tons of trades that we can take here. So I wasn't able to catch AMD on that pullback. It's already to 167.88. I'll be looking at the open market to see if I can catch that. But I could go TQQQ and try to ride maybe a little bit of that TQQQ ride here, right? I think it's going to get a little bit of a lift. We might get a pullback to 91 out the gates. I'm going to be looking for 91s out the gates, or 91.50 here. It's already getting up there on the TQQQ. We're talking leverage Qs here as we start to go higher. Another one, of course, best of breed. Let's see if AVGO gets moving on this, and look at that. In the last 15 minutes, really starts moving is AVGO. That looks actually interesting. We might get a little run here towards the 303 level really quickly. Let's see if we can just make 50 bucks on that this morning. Wouldn't mind to take this around the 302 spot and then look to see if this goes up towards the 303 here. So let's try to get a little piece here. See if there's any way that I can get maybe 20, 30 bucks here to start the day. Doesn't seem bad. I'm not going to take too many bets. I feel like I'm dead on the trade, and it's one of those where I should have already been in, and now it's a little bit late, right? You can't jump in too late, because that's easy recipe for disaster. All right, let's keep going. Of course, trade ideas you guys can look at. What was on the top of my list? It was Nvidia, and it's already moving there, right? So we'll keep watch on that to see what happens. USAR is another one I'll keep watch. This looks really good on the daily chart, guys. Looking for this to break above 1680s. If it can get up there into the 1650s, it's going to look awesome for another run in the metals and mineral game. I really love the throwback look. It's been building here. It just needs a little bit of volume to really get moving. And a ride back to 19, I want to be there for this ride. UUUU is another one that I've been watching. Of course, it's just recently pulled back from the 13 breakout. Could come back to 11 first before it continues, but one definitely to keep an eye out. And one more, FLNC, I'm watching to see if this starts to rebound today. Got caught in and looking to see if this went up yesterday. Didn't get the real move there. SMR was the one that I was really trying to play, and then it just pulled back on me. So we'll look to see if this rips up again, guys. I think it's going to be a heavy tech day, but doesn't mean that we can't watch some other names. Of course, there's a lot of earnings to talk about out there. Snowflake with a big push up. I'm watching also Pan W to see if it can push with this Snowflake. I would actually look to see if Snow continued the strength. I don't know if it's going to be able to continue. Of course, this one reported after hours yesterday. But Pan W, I'm looking to see if this can come right back up to 190s today. This seems prime to get to 190. We'll see what happens. Breaking the 189 would be a good level resistance and running towards the 191. And you see it in the pre-market. It's just hanging out here. I really like the hourly chart. You can see how it's been trying to build off of a bottom trend line. Every time it pulls back not as steep, right? And so at this point, yeah, we could get a slight cut under 187, but I'd be looking for that to recover back to 188 Pan W. All right, I can get to many trades out there. You know how it is. There's always millions of trades out there. But let's just keep talking. I'm going to really quickly run through the Sunrise report. Then we'll bring on my man Kevin. He's ready to go with the small caps out there. So if you guys got a small cap that you're watching, maybe a penny stock, throw it up in the chat. We'll definitely catch those. Small caps are moving out there. Of course, the Sunrise report is all about Nvidia, right? As Nvidia beats estimates but fell 2%. Well, that was short-lived. There it is, right back up there. Key numbers, EPS at $1.05 versus a 101. Revenues at $46.74 billion versus $46.06 billion. Q3 guide, $54 billion plus or minus 2%. Does not assume any H20 shipments to China. Ooh, data center revenue up at $41.1 billion. So I'll show you guys this graphically here. We can take a look at it. I've been trying to pull this in more and more and use this to kind of describe what's going on. So the data center, you can see how that's grown here and the total revenue growing, margins bouncing back. So all good things there. What was the big focus? The big focus was all about China, guys. So if we take a look there, that's what you're going to be really focused on. It's not necessarily this conversation, right? This is good conversation. But what you really wanted to watch was more the China conversation versus U.S. revenue. If you could take a look at that, you can see here how that dropped massively. But what was talked about on the report? Well, the report talked about specifically that if they could sell their H20 chip, they could have added $8 billion in Q2 sales if the chip had been commercially available. So just add to this 2.77 billion, add another 8 billion, we're talking 10 billion, almost 50% of what is made in the US now versus what happened, which was 12% there. So of course, what's stopping this? Your questions might be, well, it's the tax, the 15% tax that was mentioned just a short while ago. So Trump and his employees, right, are working to get through that legality issue. And if they could get through that and Nvidia could sell their chips, well, that's easily how they gain this revenue and start to keep going higher. We'll see what happens on that conversation. Let me know in the chat if you guys actually like this fundamental data and me bringing this. If you guys aren't interested in it, I can keep it to myself. I can tell you right now, it's definitely helping me out better understand what's going on in these companies, and nothing like visual representations, of course. We can keep moving into the Sunrise report. We're going to go to Kevin in just a second here. But the last couple that I'll just bring in, we're just going to roll through some of these earnings stocks. And of course, we can take a look deeper into Nvidia later. CrowdStrike kind of continuing to come down. I'm expecting this one to get the bounce back after Snowflake just completely killed it on their report. And they're really closely related, right? Then you got DKS. Dick's Sporting Goods had good EPS at $4.38 versus a $4.31. It raised full year guidance. It had same store comps at 5% up. Foot Locker deal expected to close in September 8th. Dick's not looking bad, but nothing sexy there right now, at least on the price action. DG did get the pop there. It went to 122 almost, and now pulling back. This one not looking too bad either. Earnings, EPS looking really good here, and raised their fiscal year 25 guidance. Not a bad one to watch for. Maybe we start to see DLTR also start to get the lift off of this. These have pulled back, a good-looking flag pattern on this Dollar Tree. This could be going higher, and maybe you're just looking into your bargain discount stores. How did Five Below go? I didn't really get a chance to look at the earnings. I know it came in, but it just wasn't on the top of my radar. But it's doing well. And a day like today where you got DG doing well, this is not a bad one to look for continuation above 152. TD, where's my Canada guy? Does anyone even look at TD? Doesn't seem like it, but we'll see what happens. It is trying to come back there, gets a nice little pop there, but look how quickly that pop is being faded in TD. All right, there's other ones out there, and of course, I saw AEO getting the lift, so I'm going to add this one on the radar. Watch out for a breakout on this thing, and if it breaks out in AEO, watch for an ANF run also. So I'm going to continue to watch these. Remember when I talked about that this one could go and then fill the gap? Well, ANF did fill the gap and then came right back down. So we'll see if this can reload and get back above 100, which could be signs of a further breakout. We'll see what happens there in ANF and other trades. Of course, the Sunrise report brought to you every single day, and you guys can find it on our Discord. We don't even put it out on Twitter because we feel like that's just giving you guys too much alpha. So if you guys want to come on in, get into the Discord, and there you can catch it every single morning. Of course, the playbook out there every single day on Twitter. Smash the like for that, and let's keep things going. It's time to get into the small cap land. Let's bring on the man himself, the green team. Kevin, what's going on, man? How are we doing this morning?
Money Mitch. Doing well, man. I mean, there's one play alone this morning that all the Bulls are on CWD. We're getting continuation there. But outside of that, I'm looking for the next Thar of the week. You know,
Thar.
when it works, you try to stick with it, right? We capitalized on that THAR.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
let's pull it up.
Maybe I should have held short that one.
I know, dude.
Man,
You held
it's
throughout
been
the
tough.
day, though.
You know
You
what the
held pretty
crazy
well.
part is, and Kevin, we'll expand on the show, but I wanted to talk to you about how recently, at least, I've been struggling on the day trade account in the big caps and killing it in the small caps. But that's just how it goes sometimes.
You're coming to the dark side.
Coming
I
with you,
feel it.
man.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the ebbs and flows.
Put the Batman alert out there.
Exactly. So this morning, I mean, I'm watching a couple backside plays, and that's what I like to look for, right? The Thars essentially are, again, everyone's focused CWD this morning, but what I want to focus on is what the crowd was at days ago, and then
Uh-huh.
kind of fade those down. So
Yep.
if the chart will load here, I got INHD is one of them, and then
Yeah. If anything, I
OPAD is
can do
another
mine
one.
too. If anything, I
Yeah,
can
go
do
ahead.
mine too, just at least so you can see the charts there. So what were I got CWD, and what were the other ones?
So that's today. OPAD and INHD are two I'm looking at for.
Oh, OPAD, of course.
Yeah,
OPAD,
OPAD.
definitely one to watch. I think this one could have a little bit more of a run, right? You got to watch Open with this one. They're running right side by side,
Yeah.
man. It's
So
relationship play in this one for sure.
yeah, OPAD's right at support. It's at a key level too. If you look at least on the 5-day chart, it's
Yeah.
right at that 330. So it's a critical area there that's bounced off of the last few days too. So be mindful of that. And then INHD is one where it had, dude, look at the liquidity sweep on INHD yesterday. It was dirty what they did.
Yeah, I'll take a
Uh,
look at it right here. Oh, was it on the pop?
yeah, right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yep, 530 up to 713. Yeah, that feels like the move's been set in there where we could
Hmm.
have, they've already squeezed out the shorts. We had that liquidity move. So I like this one for a backside play, and we have our clear risk where around 6-ish,
Yeah,
would be invalidation for me if that reclaimed those levels. So today I want to see if this thing's going to start heading back on down. It was at $1 on Friday. We're sitting at 5 right now. So let's
yeah.
see if we can get some fade action there.
Yeah, one thing I can see on this thing is that every time it's going through what? It's doing the pops.
Hmm.
Whole dollars. So just to tell you, what I can clearly see here on the chart is you see here, you break in 6, you're going for the breakout to 7, reversal, right? You're going for the break of 6, pushes a little bit, reversal, pushes,
Yeah.
reversal. So that tells me watch for whole dollar action here, right? You could even get a pop towards 6 and then the fade on this thing, right? So
Right.
don't leave
You
that
were
out of
you
the
were good
realm,
with
right?
that on Thar. You called that and you were
Yeah,
patient with
and
it.
there's
So
a reason
excellent work
why,
there.
right? Because it one, it helps our risk to return, right? Because if we get in at 6, where could I risk? I could risk 7, right?
Hmm.
And that's the key here. And another thing to think about is that, right? So if I'm a bigger trader, right? Bigger traders have to build positions, right?
So
Let's
yeah,
say
they start with feelers, right?
yeah,
Start with a feel.
let's
I
say
was
I'm
going to ask you that
Steven
right now.
Ducks, right? And I've talked to Steven Ducks one on one before, so just to kind of give you guys the insight, I know how he kind of goes at it, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of that is going to be what it's going to
Slow
be
scale.
looking at levels, right? Looking at daily levels, understanding where the stock has turned around in the past, right? So this stock has a lot of what you call overhead supply in this zone, right?
Hmm.
And where are we at? The overhead supply zone, right? And so this is where you're going to run into what? People that have had this stock since, let's say, back in or early 25 and are trying to get the hell out, right? Trying to get the hell
Exactly.
out. They're
Yeah.
stuck in it.
Where are they stuck at? That's always the question.
Yep.
You got to ask
So
yourself,
this is,
where are the most majority of traders stuck? Yeah,
yep.
absolutely agree.
And that the left hand side will tell you that. That's going to be where there's going to be some selling, regardless of the fact if you think this is going to the moon or not. Then you look at the past history. This stock has a tendency of doing pops, right? There's been pops before. A lot of times it's
See the
about
upper wicks.
100%, right?
Yeah.
About 100%, right? Now we're starting to get up there and we're at 400%, right? So 4 times the usual expected move, right? You can think about it kind of like an options game kind of mentality, right? And another thing you're starting to see is what? You've seen a drive 1, a pullback, right? A drive 2, a pullback. Watch for drive 3 because I think you get at least one more attempt to try to get to 7, and you want to see that start to fail. One of the things is I like how you mentioned, I want to see that volume fall out. That's what you want to see here.
Yeah.
So you see how
Yep.
yesterday you were still trading above 50 million. You need a day like this, 14 million on an attempted breakout, right? So you don't want volume in this name. That's the truth. You want the name to just die off on volume and it
Yeah.
start a huge downward trend with volume. That's what you're looking for in this case. So it's not a bad one. I'll put it on the radar too, Kevin. Let me know how it goes. And if you see it start to get the move, we can definitely talk about it.
Right. So the question's always for me, like, do I want to start it with a feeler just in case we just drop out of the gates and then scale into it a little bit or be more patient, disciplined? That's always
Yeah,
like
I think
running through my head.
shorting
Feelers or not? Yeah.
the thing shorting out the gates is that a lot of times you have to run to quick profits. I'm sure you've seen this before, where if you don't take your quick profits, then you can easily get like an attempt to go green, and then it washes down, right?
Right. Yeah.
So one thing that I would say is if you're gonna take those instant shorts right out the gates, you got to understand it's almost also an instant profit take too. Like if it goes in your direction, you should be taking some off, right?
Some off. Yeah. Leave it.
Some off. And I'm not saying that you have to, but I'm just saying that's what's going to work majority of the times, right? Because you at least are paying yourself for being right versus not paying yourself for being right and then the trade goes against you, right? If you're right on an instant gratification style trade as trading the open, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're trading the most volatile time this stock is going to trade, well, then you also have to have the mentality that I'm going to reward myself quickly, right? And then it's okay to hold on a feeler, because if you just see, a needle down, like let's say Thar did right out the gates, right? Remember, it went needle down. Well,
Halted down
at
after that
least at
offering,
that
yeah.
point, you paid yourself, and then you can leave break even and just look for an all day fade with the remaining shares. But I don't think it's smart. Let's say if I short 500 shares right out the gates, to see it go down, I'm up like 100 and something dollars. I'm looking for 500. No,
Yeah.
that's the easy recipe for disaster. So you could pay yourself a little bit, and then
And
look
then
to see if you
resize
can
into it
continue.
against the
Yeah,
open or something. Yeah.
yeah.
Pigs get fat,
Look
hogs get
look for
slaughtered.
bounces to add. And I think the important part, and I've been trying to do this more often, guys, and I think this is the fun part, right? Because Kevin trade these, and I can tell you guys I've traded them too, and I'm like, I learn. I really try to learn from it, right? So I think the important part is trying to take profits in names like these, and then using the profits that you have to be the next risk add. So like, let's say if I got that first drop, right? I get
Mhm.
$100, right? And I took 50 of it because I was just like, a little bit concerned, right?
Mhm.
Well, now I'm going to use that $50 to risk on the next trade, on the ad, right? So I can go ahead and add. It's going to move my average down, but then I can risk $50
Yeah.
that I actually have in profits paid to me, right?
Yeah, if the
Because
initial trade was validated, you're taking money. Yeah, you don't really want to like apply more risk and then end up losing on the trade.
yeah,
That's
because
so
that's what I
painful.
see
And
happen all the time,
what
right?
you've spoken to me about this. This is something I've been trying to work on. It's hard emotionally for me, but just like sizing into the trades that are working versus
Yeah.
sizing into the losers. Size it doesn't make sense, right? It's like
It doesn't
don't
make sense
don't
to
eat
size into the
don't
losing position.
right. Unless that's
Yeah.
part of the trading plan, you're scaling to position. And maybe that
Yeah.
trade you're applying a little bit more risk to. But yeah, it's
Perfect
like don't
example is Star, right? Because I think that one I was looking for the pop to come back into that level, right? Which
mhm.
was this 716, right? And we even drew the box right before it came into it, right? And then when it got that rejection, what was the important level? The important level was to reject 7, right? So it's okay to go smaller size on the entrance because you're worried about the pop going against you and you're shorting into strength, which is an important thing. You can short into strength. Just make sure that you know exactly if it pops against you, what you're maxed out, right? So a lot of times what you want to do is start smaller. Then once it starts working in a level that you're looking for, like let's say 7, when it breaks down 7, you see how it quickly drops right here. This is the
Yeah.
important one. It was right there when it started to drop 7, then it rejects, right? So it breaks down through 7, and then it comes right back here, trying to get to 7. The high there is 7, and it rejects it. So it's okay to even just wait. You see your level break, and you say, okay, the level that I wanted to see break was 7, so I'm going to put the limit right there at 7. If it comes back and hits me, I'm going to move slightly down, but I'm going to risk off the high of the day, which is 745, and I know exactly where my risk is on these trades. So when you step up to the plate, make sure that you know where your risk is. But now I'm stepping up to the plate with green, and I should still, even with the ad, be slightly green to start the trade, which is
It's
a
a
very vital spot,
It's a
right?
beautiful positive EV trade. As a short seller, I know we were salivating over this. So it halted down and then just nearly reclaiming. And
Yeah.
shorts are just there. And like you were referencing with INHD, this is now the supply area where longs are looking to, I just want break even. And we've all been there before. It's like you're in
Yeah.
a trade.
They're
Oops, deer
stuck.
in headlights. We elevator down. Please just come back to my level.
Yeah.
So exactly, you're stuck.
Hoping and praying, man. Hoping and praying. Is there any other setup here that you want to call out before we kind of really kick things off here?
Oh, Perfect Fall brought up STSS. If you're into that, she's a whippy one. I'm probably avoiding
Oh,
her.
the
I'm
sharps.
probably avoiding STSS. It's that's a scary one. But there certainly
I,
is volatility there. There was an insider that bought like 800 and some thousand shares of it at $8, and then they said they're reinvesting that into Solana Treasury plan.
yeah.
So
This one is an interesting one already. I can see the waves already starting to slow down. This one kind of came out from a breakout, a second,
mhm,
a third, and we're going into the fourth move. That's usually when you can get rejections off the highs. You've already got an attempt to go back up there, right? And you just completely came back down. So in this case, I'm
Yeah.
looking to the left and I just want to see an attempt to get to 750. Get to 750, reject that, then come back through 17, right? Like it's simple as that, right? I don't need to make it difficult for myself. This is one that needs to attempt up to trap more buyers and then flush them, right? So
Right.
that's what you want to be seeing in this, because be shorting weakness out the gates here, it could just come back to support right around here, this 13, and bounce right back up. Right. And so that's the key there. You got to be quick if you're shorting out the open. That's why I don't like shorting the open, because a lot of times you'll get a move that goes into this area and then all of a sudden this is the opening move, which is boom, boom, and then finally back down, right? And so you can get caught trying to short here. It goes to resistance, rejects it. You stop out right here at the 1750. It goes to 18 and then just hammers down.
Yeah.
Right. So I see these all the time. These are the styles that they go to. So you got to know different ways to trade them. And for me, shorting small caps should be shorting into strength, pops, not into weakness. Just from what I've seen over time, it's okay to add into weakness. I don't think it's okay to enter into weakness, because quick pop backs happen all the time with these names. And those quick pop backs could really wreck your account, right?
Absolutely, guys. Those are mainly it for the small cap traders out there. CWD is going to be the leading play this morning. I'm kind of avoiding it right now just because she's stair stepping. And what Money Mitch just said, as far as shorting into euphoria, that's more of what I'm looking for, not the stair step. Stair step signals to me a sign of health.
Exactly.
I want to see the liquidity sweeps getting involved with those.
Sounds good, guys. I hope you guys appreciated a little small cap preview. We're going to do these a little bit more often when Kevin's on a little earlier before we start the show. So get here a little earlier, guys. Of course, on every day we start up around 8:30, except on Tuesdays where we start up at 9. But smash the like, guys. Let's keep things moving. Let's kick the show off for real. We're going to bring on my man, Michael Noss. I know the Bulls are out there flexing. Let's go. Let's kick the show off. Wants 200, baby. You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. What up, traders? How we doing out there? Ready to kick things off? We got Kevin already on the show. Let's bring on the man himself, Michael Noss. What's going on? How we doing, man?
Of course the Bulls are flexing, right? We've been right the entire time. Why wouldn't we be right?
So what do you guys think about the Nvidia move? Buy the rumor, sell the news, huh?
Not even. It was a given to me. I mean, right? If there's any stock that I feel like or area that I've gotten right, like dead right, we've been dead right about this area. We were talking export controls back in, like, I think the early part of the year. And it's been all about China, not necessarily U.S. growth.
Anyone in chat write down the bets? I forgot about them. I know Josh is like he was saying like 200 or something.
Yeah. Josh, we earned some good options. He can burn those options.
that was my bet, is that right? So they were expecting a 6% move. They got 0.28%. So anyone who sold, and I didn't pull the trigger. I had a call with the options buddy, and he said, I'm going to do it. And I chickened out. So for those who don't know, right, before every earnings event, you can basically look and see what the options market is pricing in for an expected move from the market makers, how they're valuing the volatility that's going to come in. And they were saying roughly 6%. So if you had bought calls or bought puts, you would have needed a greater than 6% move to make any money off them because of volatility crush. And we got nothing. We got 0.28%. So everyone who sold those options, they're loving life, right? They're probably just going to close those on the open. Have a great day. Anybody who bought options going in just got completely smacked around. And yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself because, we went through the chart and we just said, this is what Nvidia does, right? It gets everyone all super hyped. And this was the last one, which is a little tiny gap up, nothing really.
Yeah.
And then this one had a little tiny gap up. It just doesn't, right? And I think a lot of it is just it's covered. It's covered by every analyst on the street covers Nvidia. So there's no surprise. This is why in these like
Right.
small companies that no one's looking at, you can have these 20-30% moves. But on these big guys, you generally don't see that very often because everybody they can't that you've got one of those flight trackers. As soon as you have a flight tracker for your CEO, they know everything that's happening in your company before you do.
Yeah, like you said, the price already been vexed in. I mean, interesting facts I saw: the last 9 consecutive quarters they've beaten earnings. So, like, it's already coming into expectation. And additionally, their post earnings swings on average 5 to 10%. I saw. So,
Yeah, and in this case, nothing. Now, if we go look at these two, they actually have been pretty good days to trade it, like day trade it. So it might be something to watch because this one, yes, it's a tiny little gap up, right? It was like what 5%, which seems like a lot, but right, it's Nvidia. But then a huge move, and then I wanted to highlight this one where this is just gapped up and collapsed this day right here. So I went back and just looked at them. Right, this is another one. Like this candle essentially did nothing all day, but it did nothing with a 10% range in the candle itself. So you're talking small cap level movements here, in which it's the stock isn't going anywhere. Like if I were to turn this into a line chart, right, you barely were able to see where the earnings days took place. But intraday, you're getting these massive swings. So if you're looking for something to trade, this might be one. And then you've got like what NVDL is that if you really want to go crazy. Yeah, NVDL is 2x leverage. You got a bunch of these, I think, and a bunch of short for Nvidia and all kinds of stuff. SOXX is going to move, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, we already got news this morning, and kind of what I expected. Trump already coming out and trying to talk about these H20 chips and trying to say that they will be able to get it there and sold. Like I tell you guys, man, Trump's gone soft on China. It ain't going to change. Export controls was the main focus. Talked about that when they were talking about rare earth deals where people were focused on the wrong thing there. And they've been telling you also what these companies have been giving you specific revenue numbers that they could be making, but are not. AMD was the first one. Now it's Nvidia. This is why I tell you guys specifically to focus on the smaller details that matter to the company. The company no longer is flouting its chest about U.S. revenue. It's all about the potential of China growth because it's all about selling growth to investors, right? And if you're going to sell growth to investors, it's not the slight increase in revenue that you're seeing in the U.S. now. The U.S. Increase there is very marginal now. Now, where they can expand margins and really gain is in China. That's going to be the new focus. So if you're looking for what? Looking for growth, China actually might be the area. So I think this further supports the China trade and further supports that we're going to see more and more China get access to AI. So best of breed stocks today on the watch: Nvidia, AMD, AVGO. They all could be booming and rocketing higher.
Yeah, and we just talked about what a huge component this is to the market. So
Yeah, 8% of the S&P 500.
yeah, so the fact that it didn't move at all means that we're kind of, I think, focusing now to Friday, where there's some inflation-related news. This was hopefully something that was going to kind of shake us out of this range a little bit. We did make a new all-time high yesterday, right? For those who celebrate, congratulations for those Bears. Sorry. But we're up a little bit in the pre-market, but it could just be back inside this range. Like I don't consider this enough of a break because we came back and we closed right back inside that range, that we could just be kind of dealing with this back and forth kind of action continuously, right? So just make sure you you got to understand that, and you go, okay, well, it's not a clean enough break that I would consider that a new breakout to potentially trade. We just are flirting with the high end of that JPOW Jackson Hole range.
Uh-oh. I'm more bullish than Michael. Oh, crap.
Well, it's like, it depends what you're looking at.
No, my thing is just like there's now a pocket of no news coming. Is that a negative thing?
Well, and I'm bullish. So this is for different things, right? So again,
Yeah.
8% of the S&P 500. I am bullish on the IWM, right? Where the
IWM.
IWM is,
Yeah, I'm with you on
because
that.
they're
I think they're all going to
massively
go.
net
I think they
short.
all go. I think they all go here. I think we're opening the door for a rally before the rate cuts. And of course, IWM will play a part of that. And I think that, yeah, you can still get outperformance probably there. So great mention there, Michael. The key here is I think they can all kind of start flying higher, right? There really isn't an area where I can see maybe healthcare being like depressed, but really when you think about it, it's going to get the boost of the rates, right? Utilities, the boost of the rates. XLI, the boost of the rates. XLF, it's already pushing. Guys, it's almost right back to the highs, right? So what's going to stop us here? That's my thing. There's so many people like thinking that we're going to slow down here. I think it's a ramp up before a seasonally weak month like September. So push the gas pedal early here in the end of August, early September, and then maybe a little chop as we actually get to that rate cut. Buy the rumor, sell the news. I think exactly how this trade is going to work out.
Yeah, good. It's just one of those. I seasonality is kind of interesting, but I'm really pay attention to seasonality when it doesn't do the thing that it should do. That to me is more data. When it's just,
I
hey,
think that's exactly what I'm pointing to here, Michael, is that it's expected to be weak, and I think it's going to start really strong, and then you might get a little bit of a pullback.
Well, yeah. So if it does end up in the end of the month, right? Because obviously when they're doing these monthly reports, they're doing them based off monthly closes, right? So when they say weak September, this is something a lot of people get confused with. When they say a weak September, they think, oh, well, it goes down all month. It's like, no, by the end of the month, it's down. It could actually happen. It could have an amazing month and be down in one day. So yeah, I'm just more interested. So it's like we won't know in what the August seasonality is until the end of the week. We won't know what the September seasonality is until the end of September. That's why I'm a little bit less interested about it, because I could tell you a stock is going to be up. I could say, hey, Nvidia is going to be up at the end of the year. That doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form as a trader. And if I'm pounding my chest later, say I told you it would go up, that doesn't help, because what if it got cut in half first and then went up by the end of the year? That doesn't help you. It's path dependency is more important than just predicting that something is going to go up or down. Same with, I could tell you, I could come in every day and all of these small caps that Kevin are saying, I'm saying, man, these things in a month are probably lower than they are right now. It doesn't make me smart or a good trader, right? It's and the people who do that, who just tell you, oh yeah, look, I told you it was going to go up and it went up. Those are the dangerous people to watch, because yeah, what if this? What were you watching, the Thar? If I said, hey, Thar is a crappy company, it's probably going back to $2 at some point. I'm like 90% right, but it could go to $20 first, right? And then it's like, what does my prediction mean, right?
I think when you hear certainty out of anybody, there should be hesitation. I mean, your inability to perceive the inherent risk is going to become problematic for your trading account.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it's so path, it's one of those. Path is everything, right? So that's the thing that kind of gets me about seasonality is, and you'll see these in some of the people that put out stats and say, oh, when this happens, there's like a 75% chance we're up at the end of the year. It's like, okay, good. But what happened in that year, right? There could be a lot of, hey, it's like, hey, we're going to be up 10% by the end of the year. Okay, but right, do we drop 20% and then rally 50% and then drop another 30% and then, right? It's how do we end up getting to that point is really important. So that's what, again, I buy my Stock Traders Almanac every year. I read it. I think there's some good things that be gleaned from there. I'm less interested in the monthly seasonals. I like the ones that make a little bit more sense to me, like the election cycle, I think is big. Like next year, you guys have another election, right? You've got a lesser important election somewhere, I think next year.
Yes.
There's a bunch of seasonal trends around elections that make more sense to me. Like when a president is new, them doing some things to try to like prop up a market, and then he's got all these things. If that president can be reelected again, he's going to do so that when you can take, just like I talk about with trading setups all the time, when you can take the seasonal data and you can marry it to something that makes psychological sense in the market, then I'm all in. When it's just like I had someone send me, he found some back tests where he's like, listen, if you buy this stock every Tuesday, you make money. And I'm like, yeah, but why? Like, if you can't pull that back to a reason, you might have just found like an anomaly in the data. So yeah, so it's like tax day and the elections are very, very important. Because they're going to play games to, so when election's coming, there's going to be a bunch of stuff out that's going to pump up parts of the markets that their base will care about and things like that. He talks about it all. Again, go get your Stock Traders Almanac. I think you can get them on Amazon. They're definitely worthwhile. Shout out the Hirsch family. It's been running that for like 40 years now.
Hey guys, well you can always just tune in right here. I keep up a lot of that seasonality talk. I think it's important, and there's so many trades off of it. Look at DraftKings, man. I mean, I'll just point to that as one of the trades that some people have data that points that this trade doesn't exist, but holy crap, 3 out of the 4 years working. I think I'll just I'll keep it riding.
So there's August, right? 71% chance. 100% chance in February. This is, again, the problem with small sample sizes, right? It's 100% chance it goes up in February. I don't know if there's any sporting event people care about.
There is. The one of the biggest, the Super Bowl. That's the Super Bowl run.
Right? So, yeah,
83%. They like football and gambling. Let's just say that much.
Yeah, don't buy it. Only 17% chance we're up in December. And then, 83 and 100% chance for January, February. And then, 71% chance here in August. And then it drops
September, right? Drops, right? Yeah. And I'm expecting this to drop soon, guys. If anything, I'd be looking to see Friday to see if this starts to turn around. Because a lot of times on the opening day, it starts to turn around opening week next week. So,
right, so then this is what we were talking about here for the SPY, right? There's a 63% chance in August, and right, this is obviously 27 years, so only means there's 27 data points. That's still not a crazy amount. Like I don't trade a system unless I have at least 100,000 data points. So 27's a little bit low. But
holy.
Oh yeah, no, you need to give me the robust, right? I always say flip a coin 3 times and tell me the odds you hit heads. It's like you won't know. You can't physically know.
My man said 1,000.
100,000.
100,000. Oh,
yeah. Make it as systematic as possible.
Yeah, and if you do the coin flip test, if anyone's ever very bored one day, you have to get over 1,000 before you get anywhere near what a probability, and the probability of a coin flip. So you have to do it over 1,000 times to get anywhere near that probability, and there's a whole bunch of
guys
stuff there.
At least you guys can't say I never give you guys some nice easy softballs up the middle. Look at AVGO now. Kevin was here when I was talking about it.
Taking a look, yeah.
It was right here at 302.50s with Nvidia ripping off, and no one was really paying attention to AVGO. I was like, watch how the other ones just start to follow it. And that's an easy buck, right? Easy dollar made in pre-market, right? And $1 could be a lot of money if you have cash to put in there, right? I mean, that's not a bad one at all.
AMD, you took AMD too, right? AMD?
I didn't, but I wanted it. And that was when it was right here around 167.70s. But I put out an order at 167.40s to get filled on pullbacks, but just never came in. But I mean, already 168. This is how you can make some money in the pre-market on an easy call. And what was it? President supporting Nvidia, and Nvidia hurt already? Well, it just came back, right? So, boom. Nice little simple trade there in the pre-market. Hope somebody was able to nail those easy trades.
Well, and what's hilarious is if you look here, we talked about this, how 6% was the expected move. And if you measure from the close to the low, it was exactly 6%. So you got to think about it. The market makers, the people out there who are
They know
selling
what
these
they're doing,
options,
man.
they're probably buying there because they're like,
Yeah.
we want to support this price in some way. Let's buy it up so that when it comes and closes in, and yeah, these again, that's their job is they
Sold to
estimate
you.
the and it's why I always get worried for people who buy options is, I just remind them now when we're on
Yeah.
statistics, right? It's like it's 87% or something of
Especially the
all
quant
options
side. Yeah, the
expire.
quant side of you just goes like buzzing. Like,
Yeah.
why would I ever fight 87% or
Yeah. And
90%?
that's expire worthless. So the amount that just lose some amount of money and still inspire in the money is just crazy to me. So yeah, the ones that expire, that's like completely zero.
So for all those guys that think that options are the answer, just realize there's also a really good counter argument, right? It's
Yeah.
just a lot of the times a leverage vehicle. Can you make more and lose more? Yes. That I think we can all understand math. But it's more also, and for me, I think it makes sense to be in more equity positions and do what we do here because you don't have to fight so many variables,
Right.
right? That's what I always think about. There's so many more variables on the option side that you have to weigh in on, and you don't know what's happening on the other side, right?
Well, you got to be right on direction and on time. And that's
Yeah.
you're just making it harder for yourself. Is that yeah, I
And
know people who trade like zero DTE options on the ES, and sometimes they're calling me cursing because they're like, right, oh, I knew we were gonna break down out of this base today, but it just took too long. So my option to like all of the time decayed, and then I was right on direction and I still lost money. And for swing traders, it's the same thing. Is you're buying something as it hits support, for example, and it just stays there for a week, and your option just degrades in value entirely, and then it rips. And maybe you make a couple bucks, maybe you break even, maybe you lose some money. Whereas if you just bought the stock and you held it, it doesn't cost you anything to own the stock for a period of time, right? So the other side of it makes way more sense. But the problem is, especially new traders, they aren't that interested because you're capping your upside. So the people with stars in their eyes thinking they're going to make, trillions of percent a day. It's the same with Kevin, like shorting these small cap stocks. He's never going to make any more. The best he could ever make is 100%. That's it. That's the only, when you're shorting something, that's the best you can ever make. But it's just a more of a consistent type of game where the guys who are buying these penny stocks are hoping that they're gonna 10x or something for them to get rich. But the
Exactly, the
consistency,
stars in the eyes. I'm all about like a consistent approach. I'll be honest, and I'll say like I don't know which trade is going to be green and which trade is going to be red. I'm trading the probabilities. We go over that a
Mhm.
lot with the consistent approach. That doesn't entail like okay, I'm trying to hit a home run on XYZ. It's no, I want to try to make this as systematic as possible, even though there's emotion involved, certainly, on the human side of things. But we don't know the distribution of wins versus losses. What we want to
Right.
focus on is uh, process versus results oriented trading. Results says, oh, it was a red trade, so it's a bad trade, but that's not necessarily true, right? You could have a good red trade, you can have a bad green trade. If you break, that's the worst way. Like when newer traders, they'll like just add into oblivion. When they shouldn't, they break the rules. They don't stick to their trading plan, and then they're rewarded for that, and then they're going to apply that to the next trade now. Well, if I got rewarded the last time I broke my rules, why don't I break them again? So to
Mhm.
me, I would rather see traders lose money when they break the rules. Ultimately, it's going to help you in the long run versus the short term. Yeah, you may make money, but that's results oriented. Professionals are more process oriented.
Yeah. No, it's the worst thing you can do. I always make the joke that I could, in theory, open up my brokerage account, smash my head on the keyboard, and make 10 grand. Doesn't mean it's like a good repeatable thing, right? So
Exactly.
separating those two things becomes really difficult for a lot
The
of people.
the first trade often for brand new traders may be green, and but that's quite superfluous as far as the length of their trading journey goes. Uh, it's the ebbs and flows. It's the learning experience is the best teacher overall. Like it is, I think it's good to have mentors and guidance, but ultimately your own experience, that combined experience, is going to be what benefits you the most.
Yeah, it gets hard to, and this is why for me, my trading becomes more of a game of I run my back test at the end of every night,
Mhm.
and I look at the trades that
You
my
have objective data.
right. It's like
Objective.
I am not measuring whether or not I made or lost money that day. I'm measuring this is what should have happened according to my system, and this is what did happen. And then and if you don't have that benchmark to measure yourself against, which is why I think people without trading plans are just doomed to this. Going to make money sometimes, give it back. Going to make money this time, give it back. Um, the that doesn't you'll be in that game forever because you don't have an objective measurement to measure yourself against. You think that because you made money, you had a good day, and that's just not how it works. Whether you make money or not, that's not up to you. That's random. That's like
Yeah, exactly. You don't know the distribution of wins versus losses. Today, you could be red on 10 trades, and you stuck to the trading plan. You have the objective data as you do, so they were good trades and over 100,000 data points. This is going to be consistent, but today wasn't that day, or the market conditions weren't. There's so many variables, right, to it.
All right, market open in about 2 minutes here, guys. So get ready to rock and roll, and we'll see what happens.
Tilo, I'm looking at. I'll start a short 220. I look left of the chart here to predict right, and I'm seeing a lot of resistance at on the 250 area. I love these shorts. I mean, you can kind of compare it to the Thar trade a few days ago, where you're just shorting against where a lot of people are, where a lot of the supply is in pre-market. So it's more on a smaller time frame, though. It may not be yesterday, but this morning. I like to short against some pre-market resistance as well as daily resistance. On Tilo's chart. Outside of that, I am very interested in INHD, this short here that Mitch and I were talking about. I'm going to be monitoring that one closely out of the gates here in about a minute.
Yeah.
Pop there, I'll be shorting that, risking pretty much the upper wick there. I mean, up towards like, if I may slow scale it if we do get a pop up towards 7 risk. So we'll see INHD.
Quantum names have been hot lately. Let's see if they can continue. We'll see what happens on those names today. Keep an eye on that.
yes, yeah. I saw Rigetti had a pretty decent day yesterday.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, these things ramped.
And then retail names you can keep an eye out for, guys. AEO on the radar. That looks like it's on another attempted breakout. ANF just had recent earnings that really didn't kind of take the next level, but maybe these start to push. So we'll be watching names like that. STSS also can keep an eye out on that. Let's put some alerts out there.
Yeah.
That's what I think is important too with these penny stocks. Be careful with watching too much. Like sometimes if you're just looking like me, where I'm looking for it to go back to 1750, right? Just alert me when it's at like 1730s. And then you could also alert me if it breaks down like the support 1570s. I could care less what it does in between there. Sometimes you got to do that to these names because I feel like sometimes when you overwatch them, it's a negative thing. It's not helping you. You're just getting eager to trade it more and more. And what you need to do is more be objective, systematic, right? At least in the way that you're going to approach it, right? So there it is, right out the gates. Look how it's pushing towards that 17.29 and $17. STSS starts it up right out the gates, pretty strong. That's what I'd be concerned about, right? Getting too quickly short here. But you see how it goes to that 1750s and runs right into a little bit of some overhead supply. Now I'm looking to see if it gets a move to 18, and it's starting to stop right there at the 1750s, right? My alert already went off for that. That would be the alert to look at it now. Now I'm looking for cut downs right back below 17. That could be the entry, and then you got to risk off of like 18, right? So we'll see what happens on this one, STSS.
INHD cracked. Perfect fall alert of that. 5 to 478 so far. Maybe profit taking time for INHD. I mean, there's still a lot of meat on this bone. I mean, it could look for a pop to short into to risk like 550. Something I'd be eyeballing INHD. But Money Mitch was saying earlier, when these things drop initially, I mean, sometimes they will, like, you'll get shorts that'll quickly cover and you'll get a quick pop back up to provide an entry. So that's something I'm looking for.
All right, back down below 17s. I'm going to get an entry on this. There he goes. Boom.
Yeah, Rigetti's ripping, eh?
Entries on off of the 18 now.
SPY shooting up.
STSS.
SPY did a little dip and rip there. New all-time highs for those who celebrate. Congratulations. Oh, just me? Okay.
Here you go. Here you go. I'll help you out.
It's just an STSS, man. This is.
I'll take a clap. And actually, we're getting leaders by we have
You
the
guys see it
Qs up
already.
better, right? So we're getting a good leadership out of the Qs today. So not small cap day the way it was prior.
All right. Don't want to show my hand either too much, right? Don't want to tell them I want out at 18 too much. I do want out at 18, but if I show it too much, that's easily how to get wrecked. But we'll see if it starts to reject 17 on the pop, right? Right now it's trying to reject the level that it just went above. Can also look at other trades out there. IWM not looking too bad out the gates. I can look at the sectors and stuff, but this trade has my eyes now, right? And so now it's just about breaking 16. Goes to 16, it can flush to 15 really quickly, and we're up $2 on 100 shares, right? So not trying to open it up too crazy, only 100 shares. We'll see if it starts to get the move in the right direction. Spread is wide, though. Be careful.
James, congrats on the bonus, getting 25K flex account. Very good.
Let's go. Let's go. Congratulations to you, man. That's what I like to hear.
Nice work, man. That's
Hey,
a way
congrats,
to
James.
leverage a little bit of cash into potentially be a lot more cash.
Get that money, my friend. We ain't going to be mad at you.
PSTG's ripping. This is a larger cap play. 62 it closed at. Opened at 70.
Short
shooting up to
storage.
75.
Nice rip.
Yeah, I'm looking at daily levels right now.
That's a rip. That's a nice one to catch there, man. Good shot. SMR pushing strong, guys. That's one that I really like. Starting to recover 36. That's the level that I'd look at to see how much it pushes off of it, but not looking too bad there. AEO starting it up out the gates. I like that one, guys. So just keep your eyes on that. Starting to get a little bit of a push here in STSS. So I'm going to go ahead and set that stop right there at 1798. We'll see if we get clicked on it. If we do, it's okay, right? That's what these trades are about. It's about taking the trade, knowing your risk, knowing where to enter, and we'll see what happens.
You never reap the reward if you don't apply the risk.
Well, and what's
AEO.
so take a look at this, Kevin. This is something I've been watching your setups. So this yellow line, this is the 2-day VWAP, right? So it's the VWAP from yesterday and today. First of all, came right to this STSS and then ripped from it. I've been noticing, so I'm trying to figure out a way to systematize your hangover trade. And what I'm thinking is kind of a first step is this 2-day VWAP may be clean, right? Below this 2-day VWAP might be a hangover trade. Above this 2-day VWAP, you might want to kind of ignore that. So just something interesting that maybe you pop on your charts.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll certainly do that. STSS, she's yesterday I was attempting to trade her. I ended up profitable on it, but it was a little choppy. So I was going into today. I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's a high risk, high reward setup with the volatility there. I'm just mainly watching that one right now. INHD is maybe giving us an entry, guys. Little slow and spready there. And then PSTG, I'm interested in a short, like a slow scale short on PSTG. I'm thinking about sizing that one to 80, and starting small on it.
Also remember, guys, there's nothing wrong with you guys going long STSS, right? And just because I feel a certain way doesn't mean you guys got to trade it that way. I will tell you guys, I'll never be mad at you if you guys make money and I don't. The truth is, that's what this game is about. I tell you guys all the time, we all get into the pool. Who's getting out? We're all in the same pool, guys, regardless if we want to be or not. We're getting in this game called the market, and it ain't easy. USAR getting a nice little lift. That's my next trade that I like here. I really like that recovery right now, so I'm trying to grab it, but it's just it's already made a nice little 20-cent pop here off the 16. Looking for a 16 pullback to jump on in.
PSTG, I'm gonna slow scale this one. I'm gonna apply about $100 risk on this name. I'm starting small. We'll hit it again at about 77 if we get up to 77.
Come on, come back to 16. USAR just starting to push there off the 1620s. I'm going to take a starter here, look for a 1590 ad, but long USAR. STSS starting to go in the green there, guys. I like that move, and there it goes. Big bar down to 1630s.
Yeah, let's go.
Looking good. Now it just needs to really flush. I have an ad area that I'd like, which is the support this morning around 1560s. It gets to 1550s. I wouldn't mind jumping on to and adding once I'm deep in the green, right? So at this point, you can do a couple of things. You can either do break even or just let the risk on that you had. Where I feel like in these penny stocks, a lot of times we do go wrong is that we do that break even too fast, and that's an easy way to just for the stock to just come back and get you.
Yeah, they're so choppy, right? They're just whipping all over the place. That
and the algos will just come back and take you, especially if it knows that you're in a good position. So you have to keep your risk on. Understand that when you take risk, it's not necessarily meaning that like you're going to get that risk, but every trade involves a risk, regardless if we want to do it or not, right? You know, that's where we have a tendency of going to break even because we want to be so risk adverse. Learning more and more. I used to do that more and more. I'm going to try my best to not put break evens out anymore because break even is just a risk aversion in your mind that you're trying to create a certainty.
Yeah, I think
you're trying to create a certainty, right?
Said it right the other day. I mean, it's an emotional decision, and I make that decision all the time. And I'm like, every time I'm about to do that, I think of Michael saying that. I'm like, Kevin, come on, because I get stopped out right there, all the time. It happens all the time, and then it breaks that level, and then just curls right back around and heads on down south. AQB, I'm watching, guys. That one's popping up towards 150 from $1. Be monitoring that ticker right now. INHD's lower. I can't chase that name, but I'm looking for an entry on it against maybe 520. Then STSS, nice work there. She's looking all right now.
All right, looking around at the sectors, technology leading the boat. We thought that would happen. Computer systems leading the drive. Pure storage there. That's where that's at. So other names like that making moves also. NTAP, Rigetti in computer systems in that quantum space. Look at Rigetti, man. Good. I'm at least glad we called that out before the open, that quantum names have been hot because that is hot out the gates there. Nice, like 5% out the gates. He's probably leading my list up here. Yeah, right at the top with CrowdStrike pushing back. I talked about how CrowdStrike could push back because Snow had such a good report that Snow could keep going higher. PanW could join the party. I thought 190 would be in play, and it's almost there already, guys. So these names, sometimes there's softballs in the morning. These names are the softballs that you guys got to focus in on, right? That Nvidia trade, that was a softball. Those are the types of trades that we really want to nail, but you got to be focused, right? Even I'm missing these trades. Part of it, I'm bringing it to you guys, but is it easy trades there? I think it was really easy with Snowflake being up like 30%, and it just dipped and got bought, right? And then, of course, CrowdStrike report really wasn't that bad, and the reaction right out the gates to the upside.
First trade from the bot this morning, short on LUMN, Luminen.
I recall that ticker.
Just
LULM.
LUMN.
Lumen Technology?
Yeah.
Oof. I actually called this one yesterday.
Taking a short on that one, huh? Okay.
I called this one long yesterday off of AT&T's mention and telecom just really taking off, satellite kind of technology. So this is actually a long call for me.
Oh, I forgot. I needed to talk a little smack to TAC. I forgot about that because that RR short worked out beautifully.
There.
Yeah. Mr. pegging me all day with what it was. Look at that. Ended up just booping right back down. So this is where the 2-day VWAP came in. As soon as it came back down to 2-day VWAP, I was out, but I just thought I would come back and just I remember thinking as I was closing this out for a decent profit that I'm coming back. I'm coming back for you. But yeah, this is again, it's all fun and jokes because I just know over 100,000 trades, 25 years of back test, there's a 55% chance that this thing is lower than 550 at the end of the day. That's all I know. It means 45% chance higher. There's a stop loss in place to protect me, and I'll just take the trade, and away she goes. Again, I'm thinking chop, right?
Wow.
I'm
SoFi
still thinking
pushing.
chop because we're kind of fighting here, and
LGHL.
the whole market's reversing
Like
just a
you,
bit,
Matt.
so be careful. We're getting close to lows of the day.
Qs are pushing, guys. I could care less about the SPY right now. The Qs are doing well here. I'm
Yeah,
riding the tech wave.
pulling back just a bit, right? So we're down 2.2% from highs. Really got to wait for this thing to load up VWAP. That's what I'm going to look at. See if VWAP, yeah, right here is defended here on the Qs on this little pullback. All right, IWM, even if you go XLK, which is just the technology sector of the SPY, obviously getting led by Nvidia and all those kind of names, right? So bifurcated market, we continue to be in it. So make sure you're buying what's strong and selling what's weak, sticking to your plans, all those things.
Guys, I'm a CWD. Is interesting here against the highs. I'm gonna
AVGO of $5.
go ahead and start that one. CWD LUMN on Michael's alert. I liked that, so I took that trade right now. I put a 565 stop on it. Maybe a little tight.
Oh yeah, the stop for these things because it's mean reversion are huge. Like the stop here is
Huge.
like
Yeah.
$6
I
on
see.
this name.
See,
So
slow scaling it. Yeah.
yeah. So what I'll do quite often is that. So like what I did with RR is I have it so that the bot enters so that if that wide stop gets stopped out, it costs me like it's sized for like $50 I think on this account. Obviously bigger in my personal account. And then as it moved higher, I knew that I'm okay with actually risking 100. So as it moves
Got it.
higher, I'm adding in little bits until right. One thing
It's
I
a
love about
high
trading
win rate.
pool,
It's got to be a high win rate. Like
right?
50 to 100 shares, give it like a whole point a room. And
Ex-
yeah.
Yeah, and the point is, I'm going to be hopefully, depending. It's not up to me; it's up to the bot. I take 10 or 15 of these a day, and net across them, they have a 55% win rate, and again, works out to be the money there. But yeah, so far it's just kind of flirting around the zone. But yeah, I'm fine with this thing until it hits 6, right? Which is a long way to go.
Swinging SMR. Trying to buy some FLNC also.
CWD working out so far. Guys, that fade on LGHL. My God, did anybody catch that? We called it in chat. No news there. It just opened and she just faded.
Bloom Energy ripping here, guys. There's so much green on my screen here. I'm looking to make money today, guys. Gas pedals on. I know the market's struggling, but it's momentum names that are hot, momentum back into play. I'm looking at momentum names here to ride the wave, and I can clearly see that momentum's doing really well. And what's leading on the downside action? It's the rotation trade that we were getting, which was healthcare going up and now quickly coming down.
I see you talking about TLO there, and that fell apart too. And there's LUMN.
Yeah. Tempest is one
Nice
that I'm
little
keeping an
break.
eye on today for another rip.
Nice little breakdown on that guy.
Yeah, green to red would be nice there.
AMAT looks good too. So tech trades are really where I think it's at. It's looking at tech type of names today. Those names are up big. Like there is only solar is down in tech. You got some information tech services that are a little bit down.
Yeah, defense being down is weird today, just based off the strength in the market.
STSS is kind of right now. It's just slowly.
It's grinding,
profitating.
man. It's
Yeah.
grinding. I'm doing good in it. So I'm just hanging out. And one of the things is you just got to keep it on watch, right? It's trying to build volume around this 1680s, 17s. But what has happened since that 17 break? no more attempts to go up there, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you want to see. So what that tells me is that there's someone big, probably short, through 17. Now, it doesn't mean that he's not going to get tested or get pushed into, but to me, there's someone big through 17s, and if anything, added big on that 18 break, right? So just got to stay patient too, because you don't want to risk too much now at this point, because at this point, it's either going to completely crash or come back to that 1750. So I don't even have to risk off at 18 anymore. I can lower down towards like a little bit towards like maybe 1775 or 1760, but I don't want to put it out there, because if I put it out there, it'll be quick as day. But we'll see what happens there, guys. So just gotta just wait to see what happens here, right? That's
James,
why you
you
can't
catch
be too big.
INHD? INHD was, I mean, Mitch and I were all over that one. It just didn't really give an entry, unless you stabbed at it right out of the gates. But
Yeah, that's just a quick stab down. But I mean, really, like, what is it? It's 71 cents. It's tough, right? Because your risk there is about
Well, and
30. So you got to be more like a 1 to 2 type of trader.
look at the
Yeah.
high here, Kevin, from the pre-market, just right to the 2-day VWAP. So you take yesterday and today's
Yeah.
VWAP fails there and start to reverse. So the
yes,
more I
you're
look at
seeing the
this,
pattern. Yeah.
so
You're
the
seeing
more I
it.
look at this again, because in my head I'm thinking, okay, well, and this is why a lot of people have you're a quant trader, so you just set up your robot and go to the beach. Like, well, I could, but you always got to be looking for the next strategy, because whatever I'm doing right now at some point will degrade and work less.
CWD guys cracking. Sorry. That
No
dude, that
worries.
thing retested 320s and just
Oh,
shot
good.
down off
You
of that.
jump in there, bro.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm thinking about sizing it based off of that move right there. I just had a feeler on, but we rejected hard, climbing back up towards the highs. We're sitting on VWAP right now. Last time it bounced here, so let's see if we're going to double bottom. But what we're seeing in small cap land, a lot of weakness right now. I don't see a leading play that's taken off.
China
That's
not
the
having a bad
sentiment
day.
of the day, just FYI. It's good in small cap land to feel that out. Like, what's the sentiment? Because things, like Josh always says, it's just the mob shift. If things are taking off, they're just going to keep bouncing from one ticker to the next.
Yep.
Mhm.
Look what happened there in STSS, right back up to 17s and then reject. So just keeping an eye on those levels. If you had to stop out there at 1750, guess what would have happened? Out the trade.
Yeah.
It's as
the
simple
wick-
as that. Because
Yeah.
probably what happened is everyone saw that 1750. They were maybe even risking 18, the shorts, and they were like, you know what? I'm going to move my stop to 1750. That's the high right there. Let's put it right there. It goes literally to the tick and then comes right back down. That just goes to show you, you have your stop place there. I'm more than likely you got stopped there. And I'm sure there's someone in the chat like, yep, that was me. I got run over there. That's just how it goes, man. It's tough. And so there's also the negative side of things, right? Where if you're going to play these penny stocks and not have stops also, that's dangerous too, right? So you have to just be able to respect the game. What would that mean? Lower size, not your step up to the plate. I want to make $1 million size, right? So
Yeah, like Michael's approach with the bot. Like I
huge
started
drop, and that's
gravitating
what you want to be
towards
looking at
that
right
area
now.
because I was wicking out of so many of them, like you're saying. So trying to be like manage the risk well, and it just backfires, because wicking out of everything.
Well, and also the stop being set by basically the stops are being set by ATR. So it takes the size of yesterday's range. It's a 1-period ATR. So the size of yesterday's range, and it's doing the stop. The stops, so too many people I think put a stop at like a price point that's based off the chart. Well,
Agree.
right, everyone will see that. Right? Again, they don't see your physical orders. But they see that, hey, this is the last place it stopped. We know that, there's a whole bunch of retail traders that put our stops above and below kind of areas. And then from there, you end up having, they'll run these areas. But so mine are not based off anything you'd ever see on a chart. It's saying it moved X yesterday. So I'm going to do some amount of that. And because I have 25 years of data, I can play with it and say, right? Which stop makes the most sense for the most amount of trades on average. But yeah, my stop, it's not $6 because $6 important, and it's not actually even $6. It's $5.94, and for no other reason, and that's just right the mathematical one that kind of makes sense, and it makes it so that I'm probably the only one out there with a stop at $5.94, so no one cares about me.
All right. TQQQ and the Q's coming down a little bit there with the overall market. Only thing in the green from the open is technology. What I want to watch now, especially, is like more like cyclical names. Financial services are coming back. That could help. So let's see if those go green, like JPM trying to get green. Let's see if Bank of America, yeah, it's trying to recover at least. Wells Fargo or Wells Fargo, whichever one you want to call it. Trying to break 83s. Morgan Stanley trying to climb a little bit. That one actually doesn't look too bad there. It's right at the all-time highs, I think. So Morgan Stanley continuing to push, and we know how all-time highs sometimes just continue to just drive. So might get out of this SMR trade on the swing side right here. It's like balancing around. I'm just trying to wait to see if it can break the range. It's tried it a couple times. FLNC going into the green there for me makes me want to add to that one, guys. I've done so well on this name. At this point, it's like, am I getting greedy, or is it just such an easy trade? It keeps being an easy trade for me. I'm going to try to just keep riding the wave. TQQQ pull back fast there. We'll see if it catches the love and it goes right back up. PDD dipping a little bit there.
Yeah,
FXI holding up.
all indexes here just shifted red real quick there. So choppy, range bound. Doesn't we got
I think it's classic rotation that we're seeing there. It was a quick drive in tech names, right? And now you want to see what happens to Nvidia, right? Now they're putting the pressure on the guys that bought early and didn't sell in the green, right? So
we got home sales in 7 minutes. So grab your favorite home builder. Keep a look on that. Right, the 2-day VWAP here on the Qs as well. We'll see what happens. We're right back into that kind of yesterday's range, so we keep an eye on that. We look at IWM, which has obviously no large cap exposure. That is the weakest so far. So there's no large cap technology exposure there. That one's going to be the weakest. Not from a numbers point of view, but just from it didn't get that initial kind of dip and rip there. So just be careful there. Shorted a little MDB today. That was the second trade for bot so far. Just these two shorts. Lumen is working great.
Good job, guys. CWD always shot down to the 280s, looking heavy. Did the old Money Mitch recommendation and sized into it on confirmation. I'm trying to get better at that. So that was that worked out well after we rejected the high. And again, waiting for confirmation over anticipating. Get a little sized into the winners, not just the losers here. So hit it a couple times there. It's uncomfortable because this hits into weakness. I hate seeing arrows like that. By trying to get more in the habit of that. Some of the trades I've gone over this so many times with the guys is like I used to plan for like 3 ads. So if I'm going a couple hundred shares, I may go like 50, 50, 100 scaling. But when I take a loss doing that, and then I have like 5 winners on a single entry, I'm still red, and it really sucks. That's part of this. I love scaling and the power of it. That's just painful. So I'm trying to get better at doing the size on them, even if that means into weakness after confirmation.
All right, guys. So looking at potentially adding on STSS now, if it can break the 16 and hit to the 1580s, I'll go for the ad. We're looking great on the trade. Got to continue going with what? With the execution and what I'm looking to do. There, the bid actually went right to my stop, and I hate when that happens. That's just trying to trigger me and then see if it can bounce on the 16. So I pulled it down there towards the 1570s, 67. Yeah, if you want to pull it down some more. That kind of mentality. So I can go to that right here. I'll show you guys that. And actually, let's just pull this chart up so you guys can see this as it happens. So you see right there, I just pulled it down a little bit there because it was right on it. It was like right here. And I was like, I don't want you to trigger it too fast. I want to see the wash through that. I need to see nice volume as that happens. So sometimes I'll just move it a click or two down because this is an ad. It doesn't need to be exactly at, let's say, 80 and 75. It's not going to make too much of a difference here.
And
I could
there's
also
I
put it on the offer.
and I think you gotta hit on that. There's so many people out there when I talk to them who just don't realize that you can use stop losses for entries.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like,
Yeah.
I was talking to a newer trader the other day. And he's like, oh, I'm waiting for this thing to break 10. I forgot what the price was, but he's like, yeah, I'm waiting for this thing to take price. I'm like, why not just put a stop in there? He's like, no,
Yeah.
no, I'm looking to get in at 10. I'm like, yeah.
Oh.
And so I had to explain a stop loss and a stop limit where if you're worried about sending out a market order, you can attach a limit to a stop loss order. And that's your way, if you want to get in aggressively. And this is, again, baby steps to systematization. If you like a stock, if it breaks certain level, just put out a stop limit at that level, and you can attach your loss to that, right? You can your stop loss to it, a profit target, and now you're talking about that you've kind of set up your whole trade, and just check back in a few minutes, make sure nothing's changed.
We'll see what happens on this trade there, guys. Just broke it and triggered. You see how the bid went down and came and got me right on the support. Now I want to see what volume increase into the breakdown expansion on the MACD. Show me that, yes, timing is right. You got it. Now, this is why I think indicators are more for conviction. Did I time the trade right? Than necessarily always just entry. Because they're going to show me if the weakness is expanding here, right? The histogram will get bigger and the light blue line will expand downwards.
MDB is pushing down a little bit. So far, knock on wood, both shorts are working here. Lumen's doing great. So that's just was.
Thank you. I'm working that one too.
Cool.
Guys, stopped out of PSTG. All I got right now is Lumen. PSTG's making new highs. Just working Lumen at the moment.
Yeah, and I got MongoDB. Oh, and another one, GOOS. Just triggered in here to the long side. Goldstone Commercial Corporation Inc. Wow, that sounds so boring. A real estate investment trust. All right, sure.
That sounds really, really boring.
Really, really boring. Yeah, a REIT. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's not going to be exciting for anyone at all.
No, not for anybody.
It made the system, so we placed the trade. Well, I don't place the trade. The robot placed the trade because it made the system, right? So MDB, and again, just comment on people who are like, well, MongoDBs might be a little bit too expensive. It's like you don't get paid off points; you get paid off percentage, right? If you put 5,000 into $1,000 stock and you buy 5 shares, or you put 5,000 into a $10 stock, right? You buy 500, you're paid off the percentage that you do on that $5,000. So for this one, and this is the beauty of the bot being able to take trades, I'm in 10 shares of MongoDB, right? It's a tiny position share wise, but it's $3,000 worth, right? So, just don't worry too much about the price of them. Understand that it's obviously easier for a $2 stock to go to 3 than a $200 stock to go to 300, but yeah, just kind of try to ignore the dollar value of it and just say, hey, yeah, I'm just trading the percentage basis.
All right, looking at the TQQQ here, looking if we could go down one more time and then start to create a hard bottom for kind of bottomings around the 90-50 spot to see if tech wants to start to climb back here. Above 91s could also be an entry on TQQQ. I haven't taken the TQQQ in a while. Apple, what's up with Apple? I think that's one to watch here. It's starting to come back off the bottom, so this would be kind of that undercut, and then it starts to rally back to the 231s. Kind of like the look there too.
Guys, I'm going to start AQB on a short. She's making new highs right now. I'm seeing some wiki action up here at around the 160s on the past chart history.
Oof. That FLNC trade, man. Michael, that's the one that I can say at least, dude, I don't know why this thing just keeps working. Just it's a
It's a
cheap
dip and
stock that
rip.
just keeps working, man. It just keeps dipping and ripping, dipping and ripping, dipping and ripping.
Well, that'd be one to add to your list. Get your bot
Yeah.
geared up.
I mean, I at least been doing the strategy on it, right? Trying to get better at executing it. And I think that's the important thing too, right? You can test it out, see if you can get it done yourself. And if you can't, well, then maybe just get the bot to do it for you, right?
Well, I would argue even if you can, I think
Yeah,
it's
even
definitely
if
the
you
right
can.
thing to do to test it out yourself first.
Yeah.
So then you kind of know the nuances of it, so that when you're building the systems, you kind of have a good idea of right where the limitations are, what you should look at, things like that. But then, yeah, my goal is again to always, as soon as I don't have to do something, I don't want to do something. Like even for my businesses, like nightly procedures, I'm teaching, I'm writing up these really complicated standard practices docs that I'm going to hand off to virtual assistants or AIs or something like that. It should always be a
Yeah.
first do it yourself, understand it, then outsource the crap out of whether it's trading or anything. I mean, what can you get someone else to do?
Guys,
All right, guys,
AQB
what
just
did
dropped from 150s to 130. I wasn't expecting the elevator down that
Oof.
quick, but I just took all off, but like a little piece. I'm just going to put it on a trail and see if she'll work down to $1 or something. I got literally 75 left here. I'm just going to kick back with. But that supply zone we were talking about, Mr. Money Mitch, the supply zones, looking left to predict right. We see where longs are at and stuck. Go over that all the time. Probably something to take
Go
note
over
of,
that
guys.
all the time, guys.
Yeah. If you're
A
newer,
little
my,
long here on AMD.
my
Little
dad would
poop
say
on Lumen.
as a teacher, he'd say every teacher has a tail, for what's going to be on a quiz or test. So that would be it right here. Supply zones, look for them.
Little quick down crack there on Lumen. Trying to get through this view app, but yeah, that was like a quick kind of 1 minute spike lower. Yeah, IWM flipped back to positive, and then we have the Qs about even to negative. So we're starting to see a little bit more of that small cap rotation up. Right. So right now it is value outperforming growth.
Wow, Lumen dropping to 533. Good work there.
Not me. I didn't even know who they are or what they did. Just all the systems.
Money Mitch, are you still with STSS? Forget.
Of course.
Nice. Your patience is great. Good job on that.
Do you know what
Like,
it is?
are you
right,
going to
Kevin?
take a piece off? Are you taking?
You know what it is,
take a piece
right?
off
I'll
and
just
say-
tell you it's just one thing, Kevin. Just don't look.
Just
Stop
don't
looking.
distract
Stop
yourself.
looking,
That's
dude.
what I try.
What the hell are you looking at? It's in the
try to-
green.
I
I'm
try
worried
like-
about what's in the red for me. Now it's worried about what's in the green for me. If you're worried about what's in the green for you, you're in the wrong business, man.
Exactly.
Look here, guys. So I'm worried about this $16 down versus the one that's 100 up. Now, the moment I see that go red, yeah, I can worry about it. Or getting close to red, I can worry about it. But green on the screen is never something that should bring panic to you. If it is, start working on adjusting that. You should be feeling, if anything, confidence at those moments and not getting overly confident, but at the same time, understanding that, hey, the position's working for me. This is what I expected. I didn't expect it to be a 5-minute trade. If it's a 5-minute trade, then yeah, then you can just close it, right? But those are the types of things that I think you need to be thinking about.
Well, and I always say hide your P&L, right? Go into your settings and
Hide it.
remove anything that has reference to P&L. Look at exposure numbers or things like that, but just hide as much as you possibly can. Again, I always tell the story that for me, it was just sticky notes. Everyone would laugh because there was all these sticky notes placed all over my screen. And it was so when I loaded up my trading platform in the morning at the prop firm, sticky notes covered anything to do with P&L. And I just would not look until the end of the day.
So smart, yeah. You've
Trade-
heard it so many times over the years. It's just you hear it all the time. If I would have closed my computer, if I would have just gone to sleep, if I
Oh,
would have
something
stepped away.
happened there.
What
I don't know
happened?
what happened there, guys. Something happened. to
Money?
AMD.
Is money happening?
AMD jumped big there. I don't know what the hell happened there. So we gotta look
there
and
must
see.
be. I'm gonna go to the streets.
Yeah,
all
what
the
you gotta do.
all
You know
the
what you gotta do.
indexes did a little dip and rip.
Jolt, a little jolt there. A little
So,
jolt. TQQQ off that 91 still looks good there. Apple is one that I like here off the 230, 38s. Might take a little bit of some Apple. I still have AMD, but I'm putting the gas pedal on, guys, with that little jump. Oh, man, Apple's jumping fast. I hate when this happens, when you're just seeing your stock just jump on the offer. I don't have enough money.
BRB.
No, not enough money to take Apple also. Look at it go. Look at Apple go, man. I'm literally watching it as it's just moving, and I just wanted it. I even tried to buy it, and just it said, no, you don't have enough money. You see? Nice jump. And look, all three in the green, right? And now AMD jumping there, guys. Jumping on AMD, guys.
Oh, that was that the home sales, right?
I highly doubt home sales.
That's the only thing that happened.
Michael.
Pending home sales.
Michael, come on, man. Home
Big
sales?
move.
Home sales? Moving Apple like that? Moving indexes like that? I
no
highly doubt
other-
that, man.
From our boy, I checked our boy Walter and Evan, and 6 minutes ago, we'll go look at it.
This is the Trump's telling everybody something first. Don't worry, he'll tell us it later. The SEC doesn't do its job. That's what this is.
Yeah, nothing else from our boy Walter, and then I go to
Snow
Evan.
is ripping, man. Snow is don't stop.
And
I sold some there on the rip on AMD, right? Because since I didn't have the news, why not sell some, right? Why not sell some? So I sold some on that rip just to pay myself today. I hadn't paid myself, so I just did, right? That was the first payment.
yeah, nothing.
STSS now looking like it wants to break 1550. This is the big moment. If it starts to come back on me now, I think that's when you can get out on STSS.
Michael, look at KSS Coles. It's hangover-ish. You see how that one reacted to the.
I was wondering if that one was
JV
going to do the
yeah,
hangover. Today was the short on Coles, it seemed like. So
yeah.
And listen, if you'd got it through, where am I? Where do I exist? Right here. Then look at it. If you took it through the 2-day VWAP, if that was your entry, that's when. So yeah, it seems to be important. So I think this is going to be the shtick: is show me things that were strong yesterday, closed off their highs through 2-day VWAP. Today was with that STSS. I was watching this one too, and look at it against the 2-day VWAP, just over and over and over again. Just will not let go of this 2-day VWAP. So
yeah,
if that goes, this could look like a KSS, where that's like the bottom that breaks out of it. And if we start to see this over and over again, then that's the ticket. And it makes sense intellectually, right? This is the average price of people who are trading it or buying it yesterday. So this zone is where if this zone gets lost, that's where a whole bunch of people are looking at their account saying, oh, well, this STSS I bought yesterday is now going red. And the average person, again, exists in the stock at around 1575, give or take.
yeah. And what I love is they're hoping and praying right now that the stock comes back.
Right. So if they lose that, and then all these people you see over and over again across the world, their accounts are flipping red on this position, right? That makes sense that this is where they would start to hit the button. Or all the guys with break-even stops, they're going to exist around this area as well.
What did
right?
Pure Storage say in their earnings report or something? Because that thing is an absolute boner candle today. And the stock doesn't have a boner candle in its history. So, yeah, I don't know what got the Pure Storage fans all going today. That's what they call in the small cap land boner candle.
Guys, CWD still heavy. Very heavy against VWAP.
Look, guys. Look at it. Let's go.
All right. The second it loses that VWAP. So I think
Let's go, guys.
job.
Let's go.
Yeah,
We're going
think
to take 100 here, guys. Pay yourself. Pay yourself. Pay yourself. I'm going to try to get here 1530s.
What
I
a
could go
spread
to like
on it,
15.
though, eh?
But the spread, yeah. So what am I doing? I'm putting it out on the bid, right? It could not get me filled. If I wanted to get filled instantly, I'd throw it up on the offer, right? Not the bid. But we'll see if we can get a move back down through the 15s here. That's really the biggest move
This thing could be
that
at
I'm looking
10
for.
bucks in the day.
Yeah. So the idea here is pay myself something and then
Yeah.
let the rest just work, right?
Yeah,
From that moment on, I can just
Agreed.
let it work. And then from there, the pressure just relieves so much, right? Not
work
trying to
on that.
jump too much on the offer here, though, because the problem is that I'm even canceling my order right now. We'll have some fun, guys. I'll show you
Dude,
guys
look at
literally. if I do it.
Thar's waking up.
Star is waking up.
THAR at highs. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll come to that right now in a second here. Let's go to yours to talk about
Yes.
Thar.
Yeah, good old Thar. Well, yeah, THAR. I mean, this should, as we were talking about earlier, it should. There's a supply zone here. THAR was hangover-ish a few days ago, snapped off of that. Now we're popping off of some support down here at 5, the whole dollar area. And it should, I mean, likely it's going to be met with some resistance. For it to reclaim $758, that's going to be a tall task for Thar to climb. So I'm going to monitor this one. I like this 750 level as a risk guide, could slow scale against towards that on THAR. But I mean, in small cap land, the leading play today, as I'm sure Josh is about to come in here and talk about too, is the CWD, and she's fading. So it's like, where's that mob
Oh,
shifting?
get in here. Hey,
Dude, this thing is not wide
What's
enough.
going on?
I didn't even see him. I had to click the right angle.
I know. I was like, oh man, we got so much going on here. I didn't see you there. Get in here. Come on,
Yeah,
welcome.
man. The
Hello.
zoom
Going on,
on this
AK?
thing.
What's up? How we doing?
I'm gonna have to change the little sound thing to alert me, because man, I didn't even see you there because I was looking to the right, and then all of a sudden,
This is an
there you go.
exclusive club.
Oh,
Come on in.
Goog scaling out of on the green side. Good.
Yep, yeah, that
Trade
was
there.
one I alerted the bounce at 209.50. Yesterday's high of day was what I wanted the bounce play. I didn't get it. I saw the market kind of pulling back, so I didn't take it. So then I took the breakout to new highs over the 1075 mark on the
there
way
you
up here to 212. So nice, good bullish play today for Goog, or you go with the L into Google. I always trade Goog. I don't do the 5-letter tickers. I never have. I'm not a big fan of 5-letter tickers. Too much going on there. Give me four letters or less.
What about STSS, baby?
Yeah, that was great.
Love it.
I alerted that this morning. I was actually saying watch for the squeeze, and right as I was alerting that for the squeeze, it squeezed to 19. Had traders get the short up top. I got the bounce play back down, and then then I was alerting, which I think you're in now. Money Mitch is the short.
Let's go, baby.
It's
Yeah.
got movement, and you got movement like we talked about yesterday. Me and KA over there. We did our first little. We're doing those the little lessons, little 8-part episode for small caps, penny stocks. And that was one thing we talked about was volume. When you have volume, you have action. When you have action, you can get profit. And that's what that had today. It had volume, it had action, it had movement. So when you have that, you can go long, you can go short, you can make money multiple
You
ways.
had it. What I love about Mitch's position now is the lack of volume. So like all the traders that were in on it buying that squeeze are now underwater. So the volume that's present is going to be cutting losses, profit taking, and you should
The
get a
TikTok
clean
brain
fade.
starts hitting. The TikTok
Yeah.
brain starts hitting. It's like, why am I looking at this stock? I can be elsewhere and trading
Mars.
AQB or PTNM or PSTG or you know what I mean? There's a lot of stocks moving out there, guys. The snow move is ridiculous today too, guys. That thing is just an absolute rocket ride. For bigger stocks, those two are up big. PSTG is up now almost 30% for $78 stock. That's absolutely unheard of. And snow's up 20%. And I think it was up 30% overnight. So that's like an insane move there for snow.
Who got
good.
the chain link government deal? Look at this. So I guess they're going to use this crypto now to report economic
Link?
data. Yeah.
Dude, that's the one that I've been pitching. That was the one that I really love, that chart, man. Oh, man, I got to buy some of these cryptos sometimes.
Yeah,
Just have them. Link
this
was
is-
I love Link. I like
is
the
the news.
this is what the blockchain guys told me. Link
Yeah.
is great for blockchain.
The U.S. Department of Commerce to use Link to bring government economic data on chain.
Wow, that's how you break out a crypto. Is it just completely rocketing, Michael?
Yeah, well, it's up from just today's low. It's already up 10%, but
That's going to be a nice one there. All right, guys, Q's kind of barely just hanging on. So I will say that the Q's did bounce back, but not a crazy drive through the highs. So just be careful here that you get some test on some names. I'm going break even on AMD just to make sure. I've already taken some profits there. USAR, I'm also going to go break even. That looks good, but holding on to that.
Watchdog P2, that was brought up in chat. Good alert there. I hadn't seen it, so I had a couple people alert that to me in my lobby and then as well here. James, good job there. Nice little pop there for SOGP. So another small cap play if you're looking. I'd go THAR. You guys already brought that one up, but SOGP, and they're both like we've talked about. I have a lot recently where they're both in the same price range. One's at 40, one's at
Soggy P.
Yeah, Soggy P, baby. So they're both essentially right 650, 650. Which one's going to win it? A Soggy P.
Yeah, yep, Thar's holding 620 right now. Interesting level there. Pop up towards 750 again is what I'm looking at. And then the Soggy P, I'd
Thar
like
keeps trading like that. You're gonna have some people dressing up like pirates.
Hey, if Thar is somehow still running at the Orlando
Still
event,
has the
I will
red.
dress up like a pirate on
somebody, please go make the money to buy a pirate ship with Thar and take us around on a trip because I'm ready to go on the trip and drink freaking Captain Morgan until we pee our brains out, man. Captain Morgan on the pirate ship. Let's go.
Yeah, no, exactly. But hey, I like it. It's one of those plays that, again, like we talked about, when you have action and volume, that's where you can take some profit. You can go long, you can go short on it. And just one thing we've talked about and I always do here, just come in here and find your uptrend channel. So you can see your trend that's getting tighter and tighter and tighter there for THAR. This is just more of an overall uptrend for the whole entire day. I don't think it's getting any tighter. It just slowly but surely is moving its way up. And to me, I would probably go in here and find that top resistance channel if we do get to squeeze any more for Soggy P. And there's your move. There's your chart. So wait, hold on. Are you long or short, Money Mitch, on AMD?
I was long. I took some profits onto this spike, and then I was looking to just hold break even here. Reason why is that we got the spike there, but we had no answer to the spike, right? We got a spike there. It was a nice spike, but no answer. And so I needed the catalyst to be Trump talking more chip talk of China. And that's what I'm expecting to hear. At some point later today, I expect to see a rip, and it's more talk about China and AI chips.
Right.
Look at AMD just bounce really quickly back, so that's still in play here. I think I'm waiting for a 169 break now again to rejoin the AMD party. But trust me, AMD traders have been seeing this pullback for now, 2 weeks? So this is a big moment to see if it can hold 165 support today.
And real quickly, while we're filling here at 690, and I mentioned that in chat, great short opportunity there, although I'm not big into shorting at the top. A lot of resistance there. You can see anywhere from around 660, 70, 80 into 690. And there's your 690, 52-week high. And then you just come into today. And where did we fail at? 2 cents away from it. Gorgeous. How's the bots trading for you today, Mike?
I was going to say, I just took half off of Lumen. That was pretty decent percentage gain there. Yeah. MongoDB's not moving, which would be frustrating because when I looked at the chart, it didn't really move much yesterday. Like it just had most of the day nothing, and then kind of a little rip in the afternoon, and then this REIT that I'm in. So overall, very boring to the point where I'm looking for new strategies. I'm going to steal one of Kevin's to put in there. I'm not out of buying power enough. I need to crap that buying power more.
I'll tell you one thing that's kind of interesting to look at. I know home sales came out and it knocked it down some. It was nail, but it's back at the support here. So a lot of times we get these moments where we're looking at a specific area. It looks hot. It pulls back to support. People stop watching it, and then the thing starts riding up. So I'm just going to keep an eye on nail, especially tomorrow, to see if we get a ramping rally right back in that.
I'm out of my Google here, by the way. I should say adding to my Google, adding to my Google right there. So I added to that Google that dipped down right there. Just want traders to know. Added to that Google. Still feel we get back up to that 212 mark. Long on it.
That open. Just talking with the home builders. That's sitting at highs of the day, which looks pretty nice.
That's
Still
again been a play here over the past week plus or so that traders have been moving back to, over and over and over. Yesterday had that big sell off, but we're right back up. Kind of reminds me of Thor yesterday, had a sell off, and then traders moved back to it again today.
No. And the big thing is always when you have these smaller stocks that are sticking around, is there a theme that this is based on? Not just like one thing. You want to see multiple things added onto it. And that's what you have with Open. It's the tailwinds of the interest rates with the short interest and the shorts on the run. So cult-like following, you get shorts on the run, and you're looking for tailwinds. Tailwinds are very important. PDD trying to recover here. FXI pushed up all morning long. PDD looks interesting, and BABA are names that look interesting. Strong charts that no one's talking too much about. That's why they're not talking about it. The big boys are ready to cash in China. Watch how they'll talk about China in about a month or two.
I don't know what the heck an SUPX is, but I'm short it. This is the weirdest chart. Where am I? Here I am. SUPX. This moved from. Is this a reverse split or something?
SUPX. You may be the only one trading this today.
Yeah, when I've seen this play though in the past, I remember Sup X. I was like, "What's up?" I would say, "What's up?"
It was down 39% yesterday for a $60 stock. This is nuts.
Tesla's getting hit hard today. Had horrible UK, was it UK numbers or EU numbers? One of those two. So Europe numbers, put it that way. With sales, they're getting hit hard.
Thar made a fresh high. SOGP, I got an order sitting on 720 if she wants to spike up through 7. Thar, still watching that against 750.
All right, guys. Sector watch is really, I think, the important watch right now, guys, and just continuing to watch to see what's going to lead this next move, right? You're getting some utilities to make a move up. Technology's actually been red in the last 15 minutes. Overall, still green on the day, but just something that I can look at. And we want to see what starts to lead in the next, let's say what we're at, 10:20s. So around 10:45, we want to start seeing if there's another trend that kind of opens up here. Rigetti still on the support on the VWAP pullback. That looks interesting. 1, 2, 3. Looks like 4 attempts to break down below the 1570s. Recovery over 16 could be interesting on Rigetti. But remember, I had a really strong day yesterday. So another name that's bigger stock that's having a really good day, that is a big watch for AI, is Rubrics. So keep your eyes on that. How's Star doing? Another push?
Guys, are you seeing the magic 20s yet? 620 on the dot, holding up as support, resistance and support. So, yeah, we're heading up towards that 750 level. I'm eyeballing Thar. Ski, 1093, loving TTP. Appreciate the support.
All right, guys. If USAR can get back through 1620s, I'm going to add to that bad boy in the USAR.
In the USSAR.
That's what I can hear. I'm hearing the Beatles music in my head.
I'm glad I'm not the only person out there that does that stuff. Like when you hear a stock, like you turn the stock into like a song or like Thar.
You see, Josh, you see, this is the problem of people with mouths like you and I.
Oh man, the names that we would come up for for these different stocks, the prop firm was crazy. You would just
that's the fun part, right?
people shout the most random things across the office that I will not repeat on stream, but and you would just instantly know what they were talking about. It's like, oh, he's talking about Google. He just said something that in 2025 would get you canceled on YouTube, but you just knew. Like, hey, look at blah blah, and you're like, okay, and you just know exactly what ticker to bring up.
Yeah, imagine these days with Trump and all the political talk. Oh man, those prop rooms must be really bad.
Yeah.
I just want to go to S&B Capital just to laugh.
Oh, I've seen like full on fist fights. Like I saw two dudes throw down in the middle of the floor, which I get, it's just a short story anyway. But back before, and this was way before Reg NMS, you can look up Reg NMS if you want, but there you could actually find arbitrage periodically in the environment where you could buy a stock at like 925, and then you could sell it at 930, just like instantly, over and over and over again, because basically lines got crossed, ECNs got crossed. But it was free money, and the rule was you kind of told everybody about it, but then everybody just took a bit of their piece, because eventually it would run out. You basically had an order that was stuck there, and until that order got filled, you'd run out. So you kind of, it was just like a bro code of, okay, I'm going to tell you about this, but you're not going to go crazy. I found it. I get most, take 1,000 shares, make a couple $100, move on. And this one dude, he got told about it, and he just ate the whole thing. He took 10,000 shares, made like $2,000, and just ate the whole arbitrage that this other dude found. So yeah, they went to fists in the middle of the just brawls right in the middle. And then they were at the bar later drinking. So it's just how it works, right? People getting heated.
I mean, if I was that one guy, I would have just been like, "Hey, I made the $2,000. Now take your swing, man. I'm just gonna take the lick."
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
was
I made
kind
the
of
money,
it.
but I know you deserve to at least take a lick. So just
It was
put it on me, bro.
also and it was one of the times that I noticed, because you'd watch and there's all these really animated guys, the guys who would put their foreheads through screens and stuff like this, and they would come and sometimes make a bunch of money and leave. And then there was one quiet dude who I think I talked to like 3 times in the couple years I was there, who sat in the corner. And I just asked the office manager one day over beers, I'm like, what's his story? Like, he just comes in and he makes 10 times what any one of you guys makes, and he would never be mad, he would never be sad, he'd never smile, he'd never frown. He just came in, he had a couple moves that he'd look for, he'd make them, and he'd just leave. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's how it really works, right?
Sounds like a
The
robot.
chill dude. Yeah.
All right, guys. LAC, just a swing alert that I'm calling out there above threes. This thing has gotten a ton of volume the last month. I'm just going to put it out there. There's a lot of volume in these lithium names starting to add up. That tells me more and more big money is jumping in lithium names. So I'm just glad I brought it early, that SQM trade, and that thing's been an absolute really good long-term kind of vehicle. So, hey, there's only a few times you'll ever hear me mention that's not a trade for me. That's a trade for my kids, and there's a reason why. There's only few names that I can have high conviction like that. SQM, one of those for sure.
Thar, if it can, which I have my chart up there. If this can get up and hold over this area, look for this to pop up. I think Kevin was talking about it moving back into that 725, 730 area, which I just put a line in not too long ago for my live stream and lobby, so they can get an eye on what to be looking for. Pretty sure this is what Kevin's eyeing out too as well. So if this stays up, watch for that continuation, one more last little leg up there for that short up top. And again, like I talked about, these plays THAR and Soggy P at that level are going to hold up. Not both of them at the same time throughout the day. You're going to get a winner, and one's going to crack back on down. So we'll see which one takes that mob. Now, another good play, which I forgot to alert to you guys in the lobby, was this 347 mark I've had on Tesla. It's a line that I keep in, like a make or break line. Great short underneath that. That's the most recent large cap trade that I saw that was worth taking right here, and you got a good $2 move from it. I'm still in my Google long for this little, and like you said, trend change. Are we going to get more move up from Google, or are we going to get a new overall in the market, and the market starts maybe making a sell off back down? So I'm keeping my eye on that. But this is the one play of the day that is actually up in green compared to a lot of other plays that have either been choppy, sideways, or red for the day. That's where I'm at. And right now, Soggy P, I'm not looking for a short on this. It's a little too choppy for me. But for a move down to this 565 area, this 565, 60 area would be a good bounce play.
She's on that 620 support right now. It was ceiling now a level of support. So let's just see what she's going to do right here. I'm often hesitant. Like when I first started trading, I would try these bounce. I would wait. I'd be too hesitant. I'd wait for the bounce play like after the move. Be like, it's on support. Why isn't it bouncing? But this is now we may be backside. That's the difference between getting like the support front side versus backside. We may be backside at this point. So this level we've tapped a few times, and as Michael says, the more you knock on that door, eventually it's going to open up. So we're tapping this for what, third, fourth time.
It's funny. I call it. That's what I mentioned. I call it just a weird,
TTP,
goofy
Knox
term. I
100.
call it hammerheading. So I just think of a. I don't know
Yeah,
why
yeah.
hammerhead shark, but I just think of a shark just hitting up against the glass over and over and over. I'm like, that shark's eventually going to get through that glass, and I do not want to be there if that happens. It's gonna be-
Exactly.
come and knock on my
Oh
door.
man, now we're just okay. Come on, now we're
We've
gonna
been
get
waiting
copyrighted
for
with all these songs.
you.
It's sitting heavy on that level, guys. 625.
All right, guys,
Dude,
I'm gas
yeah.
pedal here, long AMD and long Rigetti here, and Rigetti's jumped real quick. I actually took 300, then had a stop ad for 16. It triggered really quickly here. Let's see if this can really start to take off. Have 500 shares of it. Also, what's working? STSS still working. No profit take. It's just bid down action. Bid down action. Only thing filling is bids. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Good sign. Like no offers. No one's willing to take the offer right now. That's a telling sign, right? So at this point, I could pay myself, right? We're up to 230. I'm really looking for the cut down between 15 here, but yeah, it's just continuing to work. So there's really no point for me to run just yet. But at some point, definitely pay myself. That's the way I'm feeling.
Speaking of, I just took some more of my. I'm in actually options right now. Friday's expiration date. It is the 210 calls that I'm in. I just took some profit on Google here as we kind of run back into that 211, 50, 60 kind of high of day area. So I did take a little bit more, leaving my last few contracts here. I just have 3 contracts left for that move to 212, possibly a little higher.
AMD starting to get moving there, guys. Green on the screen, guys. That's what you want to see, guys. There's nothing. There's no better feeling when you're gas pedal and you're like this, just green on the screen, right? There's no red at all, right? So this is why I'm telling you that I feel like today's the day where a lot of traders are on the sideline here, but September is going to be a little bit shaky. And so I think that we got the clean green light from Nvidia, even though it didn't rip. The earnings weren't bad. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. That it wasn't bad. It wasn't a disaster.
Took out the rest of that lumen, just all
There
the
you
way
go.
down to the 2-day VWAP. Now down 2%
Now
on
run
the
it.
day.
What a move right there. Excellent
Good
work.
job, baby.
That was a good one. Again,
Yeah.
just
Good
short
patience.
my
Yeah, and
DB.
And still a good option for, I think, long-term longs. I still really like this name, Lumen. So keep your eyes on it, guys. Look at USAR taking off. USSAR. We're going to call it because, man, that's a good-looking chart. And here we're on the push now. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get this thing going. The big spot for this is 1680s. Once it gets to 1680s, it can really start driving. Let's see if it really starts to make a move. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Green on the screen. And I'll tell you right now, when you start to feel like this is when it's like tough not to just run for some cash because things are taking off on me.
Mm-hmm. And you got to keep those emotions in check and just let them work. Still lots of day left.
It's tough, but yeah, we're looking good. Where we're going to pay ourselves just to make sure, like, we've been playing around with this one for a while now is STSS, right? There's no point in just battling this. I'm going to take some off there. Just paid myself there, guys. You guys can see a drop. I don't lie to you guys. I tell you guys exactly when I take profits. There it is. Took some profits. Now the pressure's completely off. I could care less what this thing does unless it recovers 16. So boom. This is how you can hold that. The ad is giving me the ability now to hold and just let it go. Mm-hmm. If I did an ad, I would take the profits there and be done with the day. But I want to have a runner to let it work.
Yeah. Kind of let it breathe, baby.
And this FLNC, dude, man, this has just been a rinse and repeat type of play for me. Let's go.
A couple of you bringing up OPAD, so be mindful of that. It's we were talking about in pre-market. It's bouncing off of support. I was looking to see if it was going to either hold or crack the 530 level. OPAD ended up holding, or 350 rather. That one's got 520 as resistance from a few days ago, so keep that level on watch with OPAD.
Watching AMD here to see if it gets started. Really. It was up for a little bit there. Got up about $30-$40.
Yeah, I'm kind of noticing that too. SPY, Goog, everything that I'm looking at least large caps, got that quick little move up, and now it's kind of jolting right back on down. So
yeah, break even attempts to try to wash people out. That's what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
It's always so much fun to find out for the first time what a lot of these companies I buy are. It's just different from
Yeah.
researching the company. It's just a swing trade that triggered Bright Spring Health Services. I'm like, I have no idea. I guess they're nursing, so long nurses, I guess.
Love that.
And like HBI, like, oh yeah, underwear. Good, I guess. Like, buy some underwear if it breaks out. But yeah, it's just so different from the other people. Like, and you can see with like Mitch, the way that Mitch thinks, where he's like researching the stock and the company and what it does, and then placing a trade. And for me, it's I place the trade, and then I go, aha, I wonder what this thing is. What is this thing that I now own with my family's money?
Thar approaching $7. It's
UMAC.
been kind of stair stepping though. Yeah.
Yeah.
UMAC alert. That's finally breaking the 1050 here. It looks pretty good on there. So I like that break. I'm gas pedals on, guys. Gas pedals on.
And watch that soggy P. That soggy P and that 625, like you guys were talking about. Keep knocking on that door. I call them shelves. It's like being at a library. You're stacking a lot of books on one shelf.
Look at that UMAC break. I love that UMAC break. That's a type of break I like. A lot of consolidation. And look at the daily chart, like right there, right? So it's just been hanging on. Now it just needs to take 11. And then what I'd like to see is I always look for the relationship play to get hot also. It could lag a little bit. I'd like to see RCAT now start to make the move to 925, 935s, and those two run side by side. So there's always a leader and laggard. In this case, UMAC at the top, resistance tells me it's the leader for today. Now RCAT, I'd look to see the relationship play and start to kind of slowly trickle behind it, right? And these are how I use a lot of the times relationships to find trades, guys.
Whoa, I should have taken it. Oh, Tesla.
Yeah, that Tesla short.
Yeah, it keeps going down. I was like,
man.
It's one of those
It was a
things
good
where
look.
yeah, it was a good one. That was a good one. I don't like taking shorts when you have major reversal. I'm looking at it over here. I'm always looking at multiple tickers, but I was looking at Tesla over here. I'll pull it back up again.
Yeah.
Just key level. Now, I don't take these when we have continuation down. I feel like I've missed the short, so I talk myself out of trades going, okay, huge candle here, another big candle down to it, and we crash through it. And so what you get a lot of the times, you'll crash through and you'll pop back on up because sellers obviously are going to start taking their profit, yada, yada. We're not going to get into it. But I usually don't take that for that reason. Too much continuation down, too much movement down leading into that. So, I like for it to come down, maybe bounce again, bounce a second time, lets me know. And of course, other traders know, yes, you're holding 347. And it just kept going, unfortunately. But that's why I love putting those lines in. We talked about this in the past. I know, Michael, we've talked about that before. We trust your lines. One of the past ones we talked about where I was like, I saw it, but I just didn't trust it. But how often we talk about that? The reason you put the lines in is because you're supposed to trade them. And I'm like, why didn't I trade that? But that just shows you how it's 8 years into doing this, and still I'll talk myself out of a trade. And no, it's not going to be good probably. And then sure enough, it was, if I just would have trusted the line that I put in.
Well, and sometimes it's a cool feature that I don't know, use Thinkorswim. I don't know if Thinkorswim has it, but
Alert
I know
system,
TradingView does. And you can label your lines, right? So you can just put it in and go, right, and write against it. So that because I do the same thing, you bring up a chart, and sometimes it's like all annotated, all beautifully, and you didn't take a trade on it. And if you don't see why you drew that line, you kind of second guess yourself. But if you have something there that says, yes, right, this is a support from this date or resistance here or a gap fill or whatever, it just makes it a little bit easier to go, okay, I'm gonna pull the trigger on that.
I love it because it's like trading. You have to have the confidence to take the trade, but then you almost have to like give yourself reasons why it's not going to work out. But you don't want to overanalyze to the point where you're going to just completely talk yourself out of the trade and not take it, right?
Yeah.
So it's the confidence, it's the discipline, a lot going on there.
And that's everything, right? My podcast co-host always just calls it the path to confidence, and that's all trading is because most traders bail out of whatever system they built at like the absolute low. If you look at the amount of people who have brought me equity curves of back tests they have, and they go, okay, stop trading it here. And I'm like, well, have you ran it recently? He goes, no. And then he goes back and reruns and then that would have made new equity highs. But they stopped trading because they think something is inherently broken. It would just end up being a normal pullback that any system will possibly do. So it's getting to that point where you are confident. That's why I talked about earlier that, these back tests I have hundreds of thousands of trades in them. And I'm really confident on the win rate and the risk reward and all of that on the system. So I can go through 20, 30 losses and not worry about it because I know over 100,000 trades in 25 years that the system will end up making money. So especially, during 2025, my personal account was in a decent enough drawdown that, I was not having fun, but I was able just to come in every day and keep doing the same thing because, right, that's what you should have done, right? That's and I had that data to kind of prove that to myself.
All right, guys, we'll see if things continue to work, guys. It's 10:41. We got about 20 minutes left here, and stocks are pushing, but it's not everything, right? That's the fun part. It's in certain areas. Now utilities taking off. Interest rate sensitive areas, very closely watched here. XLU now starting to climb.
Yeah, let's grab the actual stats here. So we have 42% advancing, so 53-ish percent declining, and then the rest are right do nothing. So yeah, pretty that's split pretty much down the middle, especially for the indexes to be down this much, to have half the stocks up, roughly half the stocks down. It does show that it's very much kind of split across. It's a what are you looking at day, and are you looking at the right thing?
Yep. One name that I got wrong or just traded it wrong, SMR. I got stopped out of that on the swing, got a little picky, and then I tightened up my risk, and it just came and got me. But look at the stock now. Beautiful, beautiful breakout. A little annoyed I'm not in it. It's one of those where it's like, all right, well, this just let it go now, right? But really nice break. Right back above 36 today, right? You can see that 15-minute chart, symmetrical. It literally cut me out at 86, so 35.86 right here on the bottoming, right around this candle, and then it just took off through 36. Now up there to 36.60s. I feel like this one can make its way back really quickly back towards like even 38 and $40. So swing alert on SMR, and then you look in those energy names. That's why I was bringing it up. Look what's up: CEG, GEV, VST. So you see how you can use the relationships to try to grab, what are we talking? The nuclear trade. And why? Why is very important. If you pay attention to the small details, what big company talked nuclear just yesterday? Let's see. Trying to pitch it to the boys, see how much they pay attention to the small details.
You think I have any idea?
I
company
know
said
Michael
what?
doesn't know, but I'll put Kevin and Josh on the spot here, and it's okay if you don't know, boys. This is one of more of my specialties, but anybody knows?
What was it again? It was a company yesterday talked about some kind of nuclear.
Yep.
I was gonna do try to cheat and do like a quick Google. It's not popping up right now. I mean, there's China rules out participation in denuclearization talks, but no, I don't know the actual company. Who was it?
I think this is so funny. You ready? Okay, let's go to my screen here. I think this is going to be ironic. Of course, who is it? Google, baby. You said it. Do I got to Google it? Well, it's Google. Google's building a small nuclear reactor in Tennessee to power its data
All
center.
right.
So, Google, you're doing terrible. Why didn't you pop up your own dang thing?
Google,
Hey, I'll take
breaking
it.
highs.
Guys,
So-
on the upper on the volume with Thar, I'm looking adjusting the stop to the high there, like 720. I'm working a short there right now. With that big volume candlestick, it's almost like a reversal, in my opinion. That could have been the liquidity move. So the adjusted stop for me is going to be the high a day there for me. The 718 upper wick, so 720. Otherwise, I'm just going to be riding her on down. Oh, there we go. 660s. Let's see what we're going to do down here. 660s.
All right, guys, it's time to start paying myself because I can't be here all day. That's the part that sucks, right? So this is the part where it's like, for me, I can't be here all day because I got to take care of my twins and stuff, and I don't want to be taking time away from them. So at moments like this, I start to take some profits, right? So I'm going to cash in Rigetti. Boom, just cashed in Rigetti. It's about $80 there. So just taking that off there. Rigetti, not a name that I trust long term, but it's still money in the bank. I'll take that money and run. STSS is the one that we're just going to leave no matter what, break even, and just let it work. USAR, I'm going to put a tight risk on there, like 1596, and just let it go. It's in the green, but at the same time, I feel like this one still hasn't made its bigger move. AMD now starting to rip back up towards 168.40s. This is more of like a break even. Don't want to show my hand on AMD though. If I do it, it'll be because I'm already deep into the green. We'll see what happens on that one. Did take an ad on that. UMAC at this point won't let it get big red. It's a smaller position, so I can just let the stop kind of work and just place it around, let's say 1050s and let it go. This should be breaking 11 soon, at least in my eyes, for the trade. So if UMAC breaks 11, that's where it really starts to run. You look at the 15, it's trying to work its way back up towards 11 and then really start breaking out towards 12. If it's going to make that move, it needs to get to 11 first and continue the volume drive, right? So at this point, I paid myself along the way up about $200, and then now can just let these remaining green either completely expand my day and make it a kick-ass day, or already a good green day. So that's going to be at least my
Kinda
perspective
interesting
there.
here. Just watching Snow
Snow?
consolidating,
Yeah.
18% up after earnings, and watching it here just chilling, right?
Yeah. I think this might start to meme revert, right? Pan W
Yeah,
is one that I
but
think this kick starts it, and you can see it. It was on the watch list today. Pan W doing well. ZS, another one that just took off with it. Cybersecurity
yeah,
names, man. They're
yeah,
definitely
these.
AI players.
Well, yeah, I hope you're right. And I own a bunch of hack.
You're doing good with that one, man.
Buying this all the way up. That's not a trade. That's like you talk about for the kids. That's in my old boomer account. I can't touch for 25 years, and I've just been buying ever since. I remember once, where was it, when CrowdStrike broke the world? Yeah, right here. That's where I just started kind of dollar
OPAD.
cost averaging into it.
That's got a bitter taste in my mouth. That old CrowdStrike that actually affected me last year.
Oh yeah, when they just
Yeah.
shut down the whole planet.
So I had and CR Trader in chat, which he's over here on YouTube now. Actually, so a quick story. So last July, I'm about to fly to Boston. I have VIP, like pretty much front row tickets to see Blink 182 at Fenway. I've never seen I've never been to Fenway Park. I've never been to Boston. So I was like, this is going to be great. I love Blink 182. I can't wait to see him at Fenway Park. It's going to be great. Well, of course, today I'm going to go fly. I'm like at the airport. Everyone's like, it's like the airport's on fire. It's kind of like that SpongeBob's, thing where GIF where he's like running around, whatever. Like, what the? And I'm freaking out. There's no way for me to go. I literally, and these tickets cost me about $2,000. Yeah, and crazy how much they cost anymore for, you get the top of the line one. So regardless, I had to miss it. CR Trader went for me. He took his wife, sent me video, so it felt like I was there. Actually, in the end, and I got to show this off to you guys. In the end, you get memorabilia for being VIP tickets, and I had this framed. So this is actually, you can see it right there. Maybe Mitch can make my a little bit bigger, but you can see.
I got you. Hold on.
Yeah,
Let's get this
check
nice
it
and
out.
big
Check it out.
here.
Check it out, though. This was sent by
Hold
CR
on.
Trader. So
Let me
I
get
had
my
it
boy
framed
up here.
There you go.
Hold on. There we go. Spotlighting him.
There
There
we
we go.
Got the autograph from all the dudes, right? And then we got the cool one limited poster there. So yeah, that's what. And then VIP. So I had this sent to me. So I had to miss a concert, but CR Trader. That's how awesome it is in the community that you build. He actually then mailed me that, and then I had it framed. So that sits out in the hallway there. But yeah, CrowdStrike, thank you. I didn't get to go to Blink 182. I was crying. I was like, I can't go. I can't go to concert. So
I made a
yeah,
bunch of money buying that dip, though, if that makes you feel any better.
Good. Yeah,
That was good.
and
Yeah.
I wish I would have. I can't believe I was telling everyone this thing's going to rip back up. And yeah, it was a great play for sure in the NBA. I actually not compared to some because I was at the airport. I didn't even get the lead, but there were some people that I was in line with, and I was hearing them really, doing some cussing because they had a trip like overseas somewhere, it was like a honeymoon or something, and they were going to go overseas somewhere, but the next available flight now wasn't for like 3 more days, and so
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
I was like, ooh, I'd hate to be them, or it's the point. I mean, I was affected, but I wasn't. But I was still out $1,700 because I couldn't go to the concert. So yeah, I mean, it was
this is a good lesson in insurance.
yes, yes,
And most people
yes,
think they won't need it, but if you're going to spend a lot of money, maybe when you're young you don't do this, but as you get older and older, and you're spending your good earned money to do these big trips, just buy the insurance.
yeah,
You,
because
you won't be too mad about it. Just find the cheaper one if for some reason, like there's so many travel insurances that are out there. Just look for a cheap one, get a cheap rate, and that extra $160 could save you 5,000 or $10,000, right? So,
exactly.
as a trader, it's like kind of like telling me, hey, you can take this trade on STSS, and no matter what, I'm going to give you a gain. Well, then, yeah, what do I pay? Where do I sign up? Right? So,
Right.
hey, that's just how it goes, guys. All right, guys, it's 10:51. Almost to the wrap up time, guys. Just be careful out there if things do change, but riding trends, that's what I'm doing. Qs pulling back a little bit off that high as we came right back up on the Qs, right back near the highs, and now pulling back a little bit off of that. But not looking too bad out there. We'll see if things continue to climb. One name that I think we didn't talk too much about it was OPAD's run. OPAD run. Really nice run there today. So that's going to definitely help the open also continue up higher. We'll see if that can continue to climb. But that's why I liked OPAD. Talked about how they're running side by side relationships, guys. So, hey, good look there in OPAD. And what do you want to see? The leader, the best of breed, Zillow. How does that one keep going? Does it break down? If this starts breaking down, that's when I run away from that trade. But right now, it's holding on.
I use that same term. Run away. Run away.
Run away. Run away. Sometimes we got to run away from a trade. Realize that every swing, every position is just like everything, right? It's like you've said, right, Josh? Let's speed date them. Let's not worry too much about trying to get married to these. But it's okay to ride the trend higher. That's the biggest thing about swing trades.
Yeah. Like Google right now. You just like you with your trade with UMAC. You just let it go. You take some profit and pay yourself along the way, and just let it slowly but surely work in its your direction that you're trading.
That's this one too. I've just been letting it work all day long. Look at the 15-minute candles. Is this telling me weakness? No, this is telling me ride. Right? And so I'm gonna ride. Ride. Let's go. Cha-ching type of day. Not a bad day at all today, guys. So
IPO that keeps halting up is THH, FYI. THH.
Try Hard Holdings. Oh my god, I can't wait to read what these guys do.
Yeah, literally. That's what
What?
What was it?
Try Hard Holdings.
I don't even have it. That's when you know it's really.
And it's not. There's not. There's.
Can't wait to see what kind of company this is. Outside of that, guys, I'm kicking back with leftovers on Thar. I got a trail there.
Yeah, this looks like a classic SPAC run type of move. So I'm sure this is kind of like a SPAC. Just be careful.
Here we go. It's a lifetime entertainment company in Japan with principal businesses comprising of event curation, consultancy, and management services, subleasing of entertainment venues and ownership. And how many ands we're going to put in this? Operation of restaurants. Today announced its pricing of initial public offering. So there you go.
Okay, guys. Let's go over the technicals here. This is exactly the chart pattern I look for.
Try Hard Holdings.
Well, yeah, the chart pattern of just going up a lot. That's the one I like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Good Lord.
And it's funny, too, because it has been a slower day. Like, the markets haven't really done anything. There hasn't been too many, even in small cap world. It makes sense that you're going to have a bunch of degens just YOLOing into this, right? They're bored. something hard to quantify. But right, we have small caps down, mid caps down, Qs are flat, SPY's flat, RSP is down, right? This is kind of a do nothing choppy day. So why not just YOLO into something that it took 4 of us to figure out what the company did? Like, sure.
And just to put in perspective, this is a very important when you're looking at IPOs. What do you want to know? Well, what was the expected price that this was expected to come out? On the low end of the range, 4 to 5. Offering of 1.5 million shares, 30% of the secondary at $4. This stock is trading now at $12. So it's essentially
we're open.
300% times that
Yeah.
there. A lot of volume coming in there as soon as it opened up. So people taking shots. Someone at 11:05, 2,000 shares. Brave soul. We'll see what happens here, guys. Look at the spread
tempting
itself. Spread is
spot.
about 58 to 60 cent wide. So just be careful out there with that.
No
Another
thanks.
thing is this one does major events on Try Hard Holdings include music festivals, fireworks, sky lantern festivals, camping festivals, and Japanese culture showcase targeting foreign visitors. Yeah,
Sounds like you're just
they do 16
you did a
nightclubs
little,
in Japan. So maybe you make some money and you go to the nightclubs in Japan and be like, man, I own you.
We're gonna halt down. Like this
Yeah.
thing.
it sounds like you're just putting a promo together for Price is Right. That's what you sound like there for a minute. All right, Bob, here's what we've got.
Honestly, the number
$1.
one tip
we
I
go.
can give traders to do is when this show ends at 11, turn on The Price is Right and watch that every day. Why? That show is about one thing and one thing only: winning a lot of money and losing a lot of money. You'll start to see that the people that perform there really well are what? They're not so tied to their execution. Is off around a lot of money, but being so attached to the money.
Oh man, for me anyway, you cut out the vital moment there. You're back
I
now,
know.
but
Thought
Did I cut out?
they
Yeah,
pressed
you
the red
froze.
button on you.
the vital
Oh,
moment.
they
there.
tried to get me, man. They tried to get me.
It did.
Look at this STSS pop there. Be careful out there, guys. That pop thing got me out there. It went right to my stop. Yeah, no one knows. No one knows, right? Michael? No one knows?
Nope. Absolutely not.
We got to show this, guys.
Is that?
Look where it got me out.
Well, why'd you put your stop where everyone else did?
This was
They
it?
don't care
This
about
was
your
it?
couple bucks, Mitch.
This was it?
They don't care about
Oh
your
man,
few bucks.
that spread that was definitely an algo just trying to collect me. But it's all good.
It came
We're
just
okay.
for you. It just knew exactly
okay.
where you were.
We're
And,
okay because we took the money
and
earlier.
then
That's
if
why
you
you take the
run
money.
real far on this flat Earth, you can go find Bigfoot in the Loch Ness while you're out there. and
I
hang out
actually
with
do
those
believe in
guys.
Bigfoot, so we
Yeah.
can talk about that a little later. But
Next
That
episode.
segment.
Well, that
Great.
makes a lot of sense. Those two things together.
PDD starting to go higher. China's the last call I'll call out there, guys. I've seen this all day long. Get the bid. So some people are not talking about China today. It's done the gap down. China loves to do this move where it's all of a sudden doing really well. And then it's like, you know what? Let's remove all these bulls and then let's just drive it right back, right? So this is why I think with China, you really need to be looking to buy on supports and look for gap ups. Like this, buying on support and then looking for gap ups.
Yeah, and realize that if you're trading China, their market's closed right now, right? All the
Yeah.
news is out, everything has kind of happened. So it's more of, for me, like I'm looking at longer term weekly charts. I find look really nice on the Chinese stocks. Daily charts. Problem with all the gaps is they're not really gaps, because it's, if you look at the actual Chinese equity on their exchange, they traded all day and they did all their things. So yeah, it gets really hard to you kind of have to shut out a lot of noise that happens when you're trading Chinese names.
Yeah.
Same with a lot of them. Anything, not just China, anything Asia, even some of the European names are not as much because there's some overlap between our exchanges and theirs. But for Asia, it's like they open or they close and we open. So everything is done for their major action.
All right, traders. I hope you guys enjoyed the trade talk, all the action this week. It was a fun one. Thank you, like always, Kevin, Josh, for joining us, and
Likewise.
Michael for systematically putting us into place. Right?
The
We always need a quant out there. So, guys, if you need your quant, I got a quant on here all day long. Josh, any last words for the traders out there?
Enjoy your first full weekend of college football and the cooler weather you're getting. Enjoy the outdoors, whether you're hiking, get out of your house and enjoy the beautiful air that we have that surrounds this earth. Get out and enjoy the earth. Go find Bigfoot, go find Lockie. I don't know, but enjoy the outdoors and enjoy your first full weekend of college football and the 3-day weekend, which is Labor Day. Enjoy it.
All right, guys, have a good one. Take care out there. We'll keep it going and rolling like always. Any